Again, it's on. It's Erik Nagel. 866-969-1969 is the phone number. If you'd like to be a part of the program tonight, lots to give away, lots to talk about, and a lot of people coming in.
Full house this evening.
Right.
Well, yes, we have people
why isn't he on? There you are.
Oh, hey,
there he is. Hey. Welcome to the program.
Hey, the program. I'm here.
On tonight's show, and probably in about 20 minutes, we're going to speak to our old friend Brian Shea of Game Informer. Talk about all the new games and stuff that's coming out right now and what's coming out for your holiday shopping guide.
Of course.
We'll go through all of that cool stuff. Our buddy Randy from NECA Toys is going to be back. They have some new announcements. They have some new stuff that they want to demonstrate and display for us and for you, the audience. And who knows, maybe he has giveaways or something. I don't know yet. They made some
big announcements over the last couple of weeks, so that'll be fun. Yeah,
not the one I'm waiting for, but they made some big announcements.
Some big announcements.
Oh,
that one. We can't talk about that one yet, but it's coming at some point.
Nice.
I like following NECA on Twitter because people are like, "Are you making this?" They're like, "No, shut up." Yeah. It's great.
He is blunt. He's like, "That's not going to happen. Thanks for asking."
Yeah,
next,
it's right to the point. It's hilarious.
I like the ones when they post the toys and it's like, "Where can I buy? What stores have this?" And he goes, "That's not ours."
Yeah. But I gotta say, and I mean, we would say this if he was here, and we say it when he is here. They are probably one of the most interactive, generous companies out there. I mean, they've had, I've seen them, do tours for people, and not just people like that are part of the regular press like us or whatever, or blogs and stuff. And he takes the time to answer people's questions. He doesn't have to, so.
And you can tell he doesn't want to at some points, but.
Look, Randy's a good guy.
He's a very good guy.
I've tweeted him like 15 times, be like, make Zardoz action figures, and every time he's just like, please stop. He's like, please stop asking for that.
Nobody wants Sean Connery in a diaper, Giddles. Nobody.
Well, I do.
Except for you, baby.
He'll pay top dollar for one of those figures.
You know what? Why don't you just get like a Sean Connery James Bond figure?
Oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'll get the...
and then just put a diaper on it.
Yeah.
Just do it yourself.
I feel like now that they're discontinuing the Leia slave bikini doll, I can get that and then just put Sean Connery's head on it and just do a little adjusting, and it won't be that bad.
It's become a weird fetish now.
Yeah.
This is getting kind of creepy.
It's getting creepy now.
But I like that you ask everybody that comes on if they'll do one. So.
Yeah, eventually.
So we'll talk to Randy with NECA Toys and all their cool stuff probably in about an hour.
Nice.
And then the girls from Project You Are Okay are coming back. We ran out of time last time with them, so we'll finish everything up with them on today's program. A lot of stories that I definitely want to get to, but let's go around the room and introduce everybody that is here. My co-host, Matt OG.
Hello, what's going on?
Geek Stuff OG on Twitter and Instagram. He's a good follow.
Indeed.
When he's not doing weird beard stuff.
Hey, listen.
He's posting really cool toys. And other things of collectible interest.
That's right. Cool toys and art. I'm doing a lot of art lately.
That's good.
Like because I've been befriending more illustrators, and there's a couple of guys whose work I really appreciate, and girls whose work I really appreciate. So I've been sharing it a lot lately. I enjoy sharing. I enjoy doing that.
Right.
It makes me feel good to do that.
I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I just said sometimes you do weird beard stuff.
Hey, look, the beard stuff is always involving charity.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
Remember, charity is key.
The best is when you post about the beard stuff. It's like, hey, no fighting between beard people. And you're like breaking it up like a moderator.
Well, listen, some people equate the size of their facial hair to the size of their genitalia, and it's just silly at some point.
Oh, man, that's just weird.
It's like cafeteria nonsense. It's like the cool kids and the slightly other cool kids. Come on.
I feel like at that point, if you're going to be like comparing in that way, you have to be like, you should see the beard on my balls. Like it should be like a balls beard, like that you're comparing it to.
This is it.
Yeah, so it looks like you're smuggling balloons in your pants.
And that would be my buddy Giddles.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
Giddle Base on Twitter and Instagram. How are you, sir?
I'm fantastic, man. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Giddles brought some food tonight.
I did. I brought in a whole bunch of different subs from this Italian deli around the corner from me. So I got some good shit.
Brooklyn is known for good sandwiches.
Yeah, so I got
I mean, pretty much any food coming out of Brooklyn, no matter what the origin is of that food, is delicious.
Damn hipster chefs.
Yeah, well, I couldn't get a full, like a 6-foot hero, so I got 5 1-foot heroes of all different kinds, so we could just split it all up between all of us.
Let's make that decree right now to any guest. A 6-foot party hero, especially on the big, piece of wood.
Yes.
Yeah. You get your $10 deposit back when you bring it back to the store. Is always welcome.
Always welcome.
As long as you have the proper sides that are with it. Mayo, mustard, oil, and vinegar.
The essentials. I forgot to mention, I brought in some mead. We've been talking about it as well. well. So,
are we doing that tonight?
Yeah, because I told
promised
Jenny.
Them. Yeah, you did. Okay.
So I brought some tonight. We could try it on the down low, but it's here.
All right. I want to do this that plug in just 1 second, but Lisa Correo is also back. She's been at globetrotting, doing more cons and comedy shows and whatever.
Yes, and now I'm back in New York, everybody.
Woohoo! Welcome. For how long until you leave us again?
Till the holidays.
Okay.
Like Thanksgiving.
Wait, which holidays? Because that's like
which holidays?
Thanksgiving, I'll go back to Florida, and then Christmas, I'll go back. So I'll be back and forth.
Okay.
My family's
she just
there.
comes and goes as she pleases. That's right.
But yeah, I was in Florida doing some gigs. I did a Hell gig, and I did a Comic-Con.
What is a Hell gig?
Is that like a Halloween gig?
No, a Hell gig is a gig that's going to be horrible.
Oh.
But you do it anyway because you need some money.
All right.
Okay, gotcha.
All right.
It was one of those. It was a birthday party in a lady's living room to her friends.
Oh.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I usually quote people like $5,000 so that they just say no, so I don't have to do it. And I was like, you know what? I could use some extra cash, so I did it for cheaps. And it was...
You did it for peeps?
Cheaps.
Oh.
I would do something for peeps. I like some peeps. But
it's all you.
But I have a question now. So is this someone you knew?
No.
So how do they book you?
So that's a great question. She was just Googling the best comedians in Miami, and I came up on a bunch of lists.
Well, good for you.
Isn't that cool?
That's awesome.
That's great. And so she sent me a message. She said, you know what? I always do cool birthday parties for my friends. Last year I surprised them with kickboxing when they showed up, and this time I'd like to surprise them with a comedian. So I was like, all right. I guess so. So I was a surprise. So
Were you jumping out of a cake?
Okay, so I got to the party,
and
she's like, oh, you probably don't need a sound system. I'm like, at least let me have a microphone, please. Yeah. So I brought my own little tiny sound system that I wrapped like a present, because her friends are not supposed to know that I'm a comedian until I start, which is terrible. That they don't know that there's comedy.
They're like, who's the weird girl in the corner?
Yeah, so they know there's some sort of surprise.
I know her from Canasta.
Yeah, so I go, why don't I just tell your friends like I'm a client or something like that? She's a lawyer. She goes, nah, just tell them we went to school together. I go, what school? UM. Okay. So immediately her friends start grilling me, and I'm like, I went to UM with her. Really? What classes? Like, they started asking detailed questions. I'm like, well, I dropped out of school, so this is really a sad story. I don't want to talk about it.
I just want to drink. Leave me alone.
Please.
Happy birthday.
Then she was also like, you could be dirty because...
Then the Beatles Say It's Your Birthday song kicked in, and they're like, with a hangdog face.
And then she was like, you could be dirty, my kids are going to go to bed, don't worry. And then her kids were so excited about me for some reason, so they sat like 2 feet away from me in her living room, and like even their dog was sitting right there. I'm like, I'm not that I'm really a dirty comedian, but I probably would have gotten a little bit like...
Sure, you get saucy on occasion.
Yeah, because it's all women in their 40s drinking wine, like, So I just kind of messed around with them for the most part, and they liked me. They were nice.
I was going to say, was it at least...
It was like nice because they were nice people, but it wasn't fulfilling to my soul in any way.
No.
Kind of wanted to kill myself.
Well, look, sometimes you got to pay them bills.
Oh God.
You sit there, talk to the audience. Oh, this is always death.
The alternatives are much worse, Lisa. The alternatives are much worse.
I know. At least I don't have to have a job.
Real
That's
quick,
what I was doing.
Just want to go to the phones. By the way, if you want to call us, 866-969-1969. We tweeted out earlier on It's Erik Nagel on Twitter. You can follow that. We have a bunch of stuff to give away, and that's not everything.
That's a lot to give away.
That's some stuff, though.
It's a big pile.
We got, what is over here? Avengers.
I see some tricks, some treats.
some treats still, too.
We got some more Avengers. We've got copies of Inside Out, the new Disney Pixar movie.
Ooh.
We've got some copies of...
I have to say, like, out of
Terminator Genesis.
All the sequels we're giving out are so late in numbers, too. It's just like 7, 5. Terminator Genesis was just technically
not
like
a lot
6.
Of new, there's not a lot of spark to start something new.
Yeah.
And when it does, it's like, oh my God, this worked. How did this work? And, they go on from there, and then there's 7, 8, and 9 again.
Exactly.
Let's go out to St. Louis. And Kareem, hello?
Yo, what's happening, man?
What's up, man? How are you?
I'm good, man. Just wanted to give you some heads up just in case you didn't know, man. There's some hip-hop music that kind of coincides with geek culture. What you were playing as your intro music, man, that was pretty terrible, man. I don't know who chose that.
Well,
I would reevaluate my intro music, you know.
All right, fair enough. It's not for everyone, but as far as that geek crossover stuff with rap, rock, whatever, it's one of the biggest names out there. It's a gentleman by the name of MC Chris. And if you're not familiar with his music, you may be familiar with a lot of his voiceover work, as he was Hesh on C-Lab 2021.
He was on Aqua Teen, too.
He was on Aqua Teen as MCP Pants and another character, Sirloin, right?
Yeah, I'm familiar. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think he was on Brack Show.
Eric, he knows.
I'm just giving out credit.
He's the one who told us we were wrong. Like,
you know what? But he knows, but the rest of the country and Canada don't know this. So you got to bring it all out. You got to put it all out there for everyone to
fair enough
to make their own judgments.
Canada don't know shit.
Are you familiar with the artist MF Doom?
I am not.
Who also works at Adult Swim and some of the shows they have. That's someone you might want to check into. I mean, some of his music, like I say, coincides with geek culture, and I think you might enjoy listening to Doom.
Yeah, MF Doom is pretty sweet.
His persona is based off the Fantastic Four villain Doom. He's pretty amazing.
What's his name?
I want to check him out.
MF Doom.
MF Doom. Doom.
He actually wears the mask. You'll never see him without the mask. He performs in the mask. He does videos with the mask on.
All right, give me a particular track that one would check out if you want to check out MF Doom.
Let's see, what would be good. Matter of fact,
don't go deep cut for everybody. Go. What's the mainstream hit?
But that's just that he's not a mainstream artist.
I know, it's a joke.
Mainstream artist, but you will probably never hear him on the radio.
Right.
Check out MF Doom and The Mask.
The Mask?
Yeah, go for Doomsday.
Doomsday? You want to try
Doomsday, that's a great one. Doomsday's a group.
Yeah.
All right, let's try that.
187 Ruthless Records.
Mic check.
What does he work on with Adult Swim?
That's the whole album. The whole album basically is an Adult Swim. Basically, he has the characters from all the Adult Swim shows. The name of the album is called Danger Doom, The Mouse and the Mask. You can pretty much pick off any song from that album. I mean, the whole album is pretty good.
Okay. Cool. So he just has tie-ins with them, but he's not doing is he doing music for shows or voices or anything?
Well, yeah, he's actually done music for shows. Matter of fact, he had one of the one of the commercials he did for the network. That was a bunch of the songs from one particular song they did a commercial for the lineup that they have.
Okay, so it's like those excuse me, those text bumpers that Adult Swim does, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
All right, that's cool. Look, it's not bad. We can open up with that sometime.
Check out one of the songs off the Danger Doom album. I think you'll enjoy some of it.
All right, Kareem. Thank you so much, and for turning us on to something new here that we should all check out. Let's hook them up with something. Would you like a copy of Avengers: Age of Ultron?
Absolutely.
All right, I'm going to put you on hold, and we'll get your information.
All right, good deal.
All right, thanks, man. There we go. Something new.
Look at that.
So you're aware of MF Doom?
Yeah. He's done collaborations with Adult Swim stuff. He did some a rap with Meatwad at the one of the episodes. And yeah, he's just I've seen stuff with William Street with those little interludes between stuff that he's done. So
that's cool.
Yeah, he's definitely involved with he's definitely on the nerdier side, as you can tell by his masks and the stuff that he's into.
It wasn't bad. I mean,
it's cool.
It was all right. Yeah,
not bad.
Cool.
Hey,
we learned something.
Lewis, hop on there. What was this that you were running into me here while we were listening to that?
There's a rap song I used to listen to back in the day from Timberland and Magoo, where they sample the theme from Spider-Man. And I thought it was pretty cool. It's pretty decent.
What's it called? Here We Come?
Here We Come.
Is it the Roots song? No, it's not the Roots song. We added it. Why is it not showing up? Oh.
Here We Come,
Reversed? Let's try that one. Nope. It's been pulled off.
All right.
Well, if you can find it in the system there, Lewis, let me know, and we'll check it out in just a little bit. Brian Shea is going to be, I think he's on the phone, so we'll get to him in just in a few minutes there. Brian, if you're listening, please hang on. Wanted to update you on something with Halloween.
Okay.
By the way, Halloween, complete bust. Because I'm in a nice area, you know, and there's a lot of families and stuff in that area, and you'd think, oh, you know, there's schools and stuff around me, parks. There'd be a lot of kids coming around trick-or-treating and everything, and nada. I think maybe 4 visits to the house.
So, that was by us as well, except for about 3 houses down from me. The guy 3 houses down from me goes, like, balls to the wall for his Halloween decorations. He's got one of those projectors on all the windows of his house.
Oh, nice.
And it projects like zombies taking over the house.
Hold on a second.
And when you drive by, you tune into a radio station and you could actually hear like the zombie takeover in his house.
I think that's my friend Ricky who lives in New Jersey, because he was showing me all the pictures of the projectors he put up in his window, and he's like, dude, I was scaring the shit out of my neighbors with this.
Do you have photos of it?
I don't, but I can find out.
See if you can get in front of it now and show Matt. See if it's the same guy.
I don't think his name is not Ricky. I can tell you that. But
all right, it's not the same guy.
But this is a setup you can get. There's a similar. You could get it like they have them for Christmas too, right? Where it's all happy, cheerful, and you put on fucking Christmas carols. So his house gets bombarded. Like kids come from all over to check out his house, but the rest of the houses don't get anything. And I think we talked about this last week. I can't remember. I think it's because everybody's doing that trunk and treat nonsense.
What is trunk and treat?
Trunk or treat. They did in my area 2 days before Halloween.
Right. See, for us, they actually did it on Halloween. So what it is a group of parents, in conjunction with either the police department or the fire department, or sometimes just like local government or someone sponsors it. But they kind of pull together, they get a bunch of candies, they'll go to a parking lot, and they park in a bunch of parking spots. They open up their trunks and they put the candy in the trunks. And the little kids, they have like little parties and stuff like that. And the kids go around and they trick or treat at each car. And it's a way to control the environment. No one gets, needles in their Snickers bar or whatever the fuck was going on over here.
The notice I saw
horrible.
It's terrible. It takes all the fun and excitement out of trick or treating.
The notice I got from the town for the one near me was that they wanted to encourage parents to bring their children to trunk or treat. I think for me it was in association with the fire department.
Right.
And they wanted to encourage safe and responsible trick or treating and have a positive environment. As soon as I saw positive environment, it's just
it's okay.
No fun.
It's that catered entitlement. Protect everybody, put, rubber on everything so nobody gets hurt, everybody gets equals amount of candy, and, you're taking all the fun out of any trick-or-treat, not even trick-or-treating. Halloween is just adults now. It's supposed to be all ages, but now it's just adults to get to wear costumes, go to parties. You can't do shit with kids anymore.
I made a very good observation this year. I think it's a positive observation as far as the conversation we're having. I noticed that a lot of the kids that went to the trunk and treat, we did not participate in the trunk or treat, but there was another town event going on in the same space that was Halloween themed, and we went to that. There was music and jumpy houses and stuff like that, right? So we went to that part. And I was watching the kids who were at the trunk or treat, and they were all like 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, like that age range, right? No little kids. Now, all the kids I saw that actually were going house to house were little kids. And I'm thinking that, and that's what I did. I took my son house to house. I'm hoping that maybe it's a generation, and that generation's kids are going to take the trunk and treat and drive off into the sunset.
Probably.
And this new generation, which is hopefully like our age group, is going to take their kids actually trick-or-treating house to house, because that's who it was. It was all kids or all people my age, or our age, with kids about my son's age, 3, 4, a little bit younger than that, maybe slightly older, but that general range. And you would think that would be the perfect age range for the trunk or treat if you really want to have safe. No, those people were going house to house with their kids. That's because the parents wanted to do it.
It's because the parents were our age and went, house to house, and that was normal because that's what you do on Halloween.
So I'm hoping that maybe this is something that's going to go away, because I think Halloween is really supposed to be fun, and it's supposed to be a bit adventurous. I'm not saying I'm not saying it's not supposed to be safe, and I'm not saying like vigilance isn't important, but walking around a parking lot just is not.
I think it just depends on the neighborhood you're in too.
Yeah,
when I was a kid, we knew most of our neighbors. So when we were trick or treating, we knew all the houses. Right. So it wasn't as scary as being in a neighborhood where
if you're in the ghetto, and the chances are Snicker bar or victim of a drive-by. Yeah, okay, go to a trunk or treat in a controlled environment. I get that, but in these up-class, high-end towns, there's no reason. There's no reason for it.
Yeah, that's crap.
We're making kids into wusses.
Yeah.
What even weirder is, I don't know. Like, I actually got trick-or-treaters this year. I've never had trick-or-treaters before.
Did you have candy to give out?
No, but I really disappointed them when I was like, you're not seamless. They were like, trick-or-treat. I'm like, trick, sorry. Like,
you just had fish in your freezer. Do you want a frozen fish?
Yeah, that's basically what I have.
You should have started giving out prizes from all of your cook-offs. I've got a crock pot.
Yeah, I'm like, I got a hand mixer. Parents would be like, yeah, we're coming back to this house next year. We just saved $300.
Do you need a hand emulsifier?
But it's just weird. I don't know. Like in Brooklyn, people just walk around the stores and people just sit in front of the stores with bags of candy and just give it to them. But people still trick or treat. It's not like, we were going to like Trunks and like, picking out candy. But it was funny watching kids be like, no, we're not going to the paint store, Mom. We're going to the bodega. We're going to get good candy.
But even like, so again, in my town, I have the zoo in my town, Turtleback Zoo. And Turtleback Zoo is a big Halloween thing where they set up trick-or-treating locations all over the zoo. Even that I'm kind of okay with because it's a little bit different, but you're not just walking around a parking lot. At least you're like doing something else. But even that to me is a little bit weird. It's like, just go knock on some doors.
Yeah.
Take some chances.
Knock on some doors. Take a step that is new.
That's right. Take someone's candy bowl when they put out that little sign that says, please only take one. Take the whole thing. You have to live one. You have to live.
It's just the irony of Halloween. It's always like every other day of the year, it's like, don't take candy from strangers. Halloween's like, take all the candy from all the strangers.
Yeah, like every stranger you see, just ask them if they have candy.
Yeah, and they'll just give it to you, and it's totally okay.
Yeah.
There's only two things you really have to be careful of for Halloween. Is one, if you're a young kid or something like that, a parent should check the candy.
Of course.
Right? Even though that normally nothing ever happens, but they should check it anyway. I know the thing in Philadelphia with somebody put the needle in there. Yeah. I just think because somebody got bored and said, look, this story never comes up. I'm going to make this happen.
Or they just did it themselves and called it in. It was like, oh, look, found this in my candy bar.
Why? Well, what's with all the Band-Aids on your finger? No, so there's that. Obviously check your kids' candy. But then the other thing, too, is, when it gets dark, if you should wear something that's a little bit reflective, and if you can't, just don't get hit by a car.
Yeah, put on one of those
look out for the cars, and then the rest of it, what it is, survival of the fittest. If you get hit with a flour sock, you had it coming.
That's it.
You weren't, using your peripheral vision. Cut holes in the mask and learn how to run and hide. When you're wearing a Dayglow costume, you got to learn to hide in bushes and cover yourself in leaves when the big kids are coming running around with the pellet guns and paintballs.
Well, no one does tricks anymore. I remember as a kid, I definitely got hit
trick or beat now.
I definitely got hit with shaving cream at a couple houses.
Oh, yeah.
And I was okay with it. Like, it was like,
that's part of Halloween.
Yeah.
I know. Does anyone even egg houses anymore?
We talked about that. I don't think people even do Mischief Night anymore.
What is wrong?
Like, throw bacon next time. I'm hungry.
World.
Next year, I'm just bringing a taser. Because then you can go, trick. It's just Halloween. You can tase who you want. You got me.
Right.
But it's funny, too, that they're trying to, baby-proof Halloween when the origin of Halloween has a lot of, evilness to it based on witches.
No, not evil. Be careful. You're going down a slippery slope.
All right, please tell me.
It's not, it's religious, but it's not based in evil. It was about the spirits passing from one realm to the other.
That was the night before, though, isn't it?
Because it's that whole thing. It's All Souls Day.
Yeah.
I mean, it really, look, people have made it evil over the years because of witches and devils and all that shit. But really, the true pagan basis for Halloween is not evil. It was a religious holiday like every other holiday for them. And now it's just a secular holiday. It's about kids dressing up in dumb costumes and getting candy.
It's just about candy. Like, that's it.
It's about Mars, and it's about Snickers and Kit Kat and Reese's.
Starburst, Twizzlers.
And it's about going to the stores and being like, God damn it, take down these Christmas decorations. It's not even Halloween yet. And that's what it's about.
And it's about beating anybody that gives you Bitto honey.
Oh,
they deserve a punch in the jaw.
By the way,
or Necco wafers.
The end of last week,
chalk.
I love The Late Show with Stephen Colbert.
Yeah.
So Friday, he does a big Halloween show. He's in full costume, the set's decorated and everything. And the cool thing is, too, a lot of the theater is LED screen.
Right.
So they can change everything on a whim, and it looks like professionally decorated, even though it's electronic screens. And it just doesn't look like a shitty green screen kind of thing. It looks really well done. So he comes out, it's all this stuff's going on, and he's doing a whole thing on Halloween. And he puts up a photo of Bitto honey, which we've talked about, right? and he goes, and then, going to this, and then, when this comes about, and then he just leans into the camera and goes, he's like, that's when you walk up to the door and you knock on the door and you say, oh, I'm sorry, was my kid dressed as a garbage can? Oh, Stephen Colbert.
Oh, you.
Final thing before we get to Brian, with Halloween. So I told the story last week about a I thought it was called spooking, when somebody knocks on your door, and some schools are now encouraging this to. It's a ring and run, but you leave a little gift for somebody, so it's a positive thing, right?
So that's when it's okay to knock on someone's door, when you're leaving a flaming pumpkin there to scare the hell out of them, but to get candy, no.
Totes cool then.
Yeah.
What's the line from The Simpsons when they did it to Skinner, and he goes, "Oh, these Italian moccasins will make short work of this bag," or something like that? And then, of course, the Billy Madison line, he called the shit poo. Yeah. No, so I thought it was called, somebody told me it was called spooking, but apparently it's called ghosting. So
spooking, ghosting,
yeah. So, but one word is a bit more,
charged,
dangerous than the other word.
Yeah.
So, I guess it's called ghosting. And if you didn't hear last week's show, what it is that some of these schools encourage the kids to do. It's sort of a good deed. You pick a couple people on the block, then they leave a little surprise and knock on the door. So then when somebody comes out and checks out the door, there's a little gift there. You don't know who it's from, and it's supposed to be all nice.
I still think it's crazy, but
I think it's a waste of time.
Yeah.
I think it's crazy. I think in the age, again, I said it last week, in the age of if you see something, say something. If you see a mysterious package, call the cops. How are you going to go around leaving packages on people's doorsteps?
Randomly.
Lure them onto your property so everything you do is nice and legal.
That's it.
Doesn't work if you invite them.
All right.
Damn it.
All right.
Let's move on. A little bit later in the program, Randy from NECA Toys. He's stuck in traffic. He will be here as soon as he can. And then the girls from Project You Are Okay will be here also a little bit later.
Very cool.
Let's go to my friend Brian Shea from Game Informer. Brian, how are you, sir?
Doing well, man. How are you?
Good. How's everything over at Game Informer?
Busy as all hell, but it's the middle of the holiday rush, so every game imaginable is coming out right now. But it's part of the job, and it's awesome.
Yes, and it's the perfect time to talk to you about new releases, stuff for the holiday. Now, also, I want to, if you can work in some suggestions later, when I was talking with Brian, he's going to tell us about the new stuff that's coming out, some of the stuff that's coming out for the holidays.
Sure.
If you're not getting video games for yourself, you're a parent or something like that, you're going to want to know what your kids actually want this year, so he'll give you some of those suggestions. But I also want, as we go into the holidays, into the summer, I like to take that time to catch up on things. People catch up on DVRs and Netflix. And for me, I'm going to try to do get back into full-time gaming during my vacation since I have nothing to do. And I have two systems that have been sitting there pristine since Christmas and have not been played. So I'm going to get back into stuff. Maybe you'll have some suggestions of what games people should be getting into. Doesn't matter how long they've been out, some personal favorites or whatever. But let's start off with some of the new releases. What is out? What can you tell us?
Well, the one that I'm really into right now is Assassin's Creed Syndicate. So last year, Assassin's Creed Unity came out, and it was pretty much a flop. Not because it was necessarily a bad game, but a lot of people thought that the world was kind of bland. It took place in Paris, which should have been cool, but it I don't know, it didn't really sell on a lot of fans.
I don't know much. I've never really, I played one of the Assassin's Creeds years ago, but I always found that particular series to be more visually impressive than playing the game.
Oh, and Unity, which was last year's game, was gorgeous. It's just that, it was full of technical glitches. Like, people's faces would disappear when you were talking to them, and like you'd fall through the floor, stupid stuff like that. And it was a problem for a lot of people up until 4 months ago. But this year, it's Assassin's Creed Syndicate. It takes place in London in the 1800s, and it's freaking awesome. You can choose between two assassins to control. They're twins, Jacob and Evie Fry, and basically you start a gang in London, and you try to take back London from the Blighters, which is the rival gang, and
the Politers.
The Blighters.
Oh, the Blighters. I thought you said the Politers.
It sounds very British.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I'm like, it's typical. The Politers. The Gentlemen.
The Gentlemen, yes.
Set the table.
You head up a gang called the Rook, then you basically just go, one of the main side quests is to go around and to all the different boroughs of London and recapture the city, and do different tasks. You attack a gang stronghold, or you take out a prominent leader in that gang, in that borough. And then at the end, when you get all the tasks done in the borough, you have a gang war, and you just take your gang and up against their gang, and you brawl it out pretty much until you win. And then there's also a main storyline, which is pretty cool as well. I'm getting near the end of that. So that's what I've been really playing a lot. Then it's kind of, Halo 5 came out recently, which,
right. I've seen the commercials are all over television, but this is weird. This is, unless I'm just a little bit out of it, this particular round of Halo is not one that I've heard a lot of people, excited and rushing to get. Like, I haven't heard much word of mouth on it.
Well, if you're going to talk about, like, last year with Assassin's Creed Unity kind of killed the excitement a lot of people had for the Assassin's Creed series, last year, 343 Industries, which is the current developer of the series, released Halo the Master Chief Collection,
right?
Which was just Halo 1 through 4 remastered and put on Xbox One. It was supposed to be this awesome package, and it was pretty cool, except the online was so fundamentally broken that people were just like, I don't trust this developer anymore. So, I mean, people were excited for it, but they were also very apprehensive about kind of, spending $60 and jumping in online if, they couldn't put together a greatest hits collection last year. What makes them think they can put together a full game? But the servers have been much better than the Master Chief Collection even is today, maybe. It's been a much smoother launch for them for Halo 5, but a lot of people are upset about the story mode. It just doesn't. A lot of people feel it doesn't deliver. I haven't made it that far into it yet.
Story mode is where you're just playing, by yourself, not online with people, right?
Well, you can do co-op with people online, but it's like story is like you're playing through the main storyline,
right.
Master Chief, and then there's another team that's headed by a guy named Spartan Locke, and basically they're going up against each other. So you kind of do shifting perspectives in that same storyline. So it is a cool idea, and each team has 4 people, so you can do 4-player co-op. And then there's also the typical online competitive multiplayer, so like team deathmatch and capture the flag. And then there's a new mode called Warzone, which is just massive battles between, I think it's 16 versus 16, I believe is the team sizes.
That's not good.
Yeah, so it's just crazy.
Remember that game Kevin and I were really excited about years ago? That came out, Homefront, I think. Was it Homefront? It was based about Korea taking over the United States. It was sort of like Red Dawn.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right. So the trailers looked great and everything online seemed really cool. And then they came out and then their multiplayer was like 32 people or something, some ridiculous size. You couldn't get into playing the game no matter what time of day you tried to spawn into the thing, because the second you got out there, somebody's been sitting at the steeple of a church just sniping the regeneration spots, and you're like, I'm never going to get to play this game. And then you play the actual game and you were done within a couple hours. Like, there wasn't much to it.
Well, I think that a lot of that is just because Homefront wasn't a very good game. There is a sequel coming out for that. But I mean, it can be done. Those big modes can be done well. Halo's done big team battles in the past, as like a separate playlist. The Battlefield series has done, I think 64 versus 64 multiplayer, and it's worked well for them in certain modes. So I mean, it's just a matter of how well the team executes on it. It's not necessarily, it may be trickier because there's more people in it and they have to build maps that are suited for so many different players playing at the same time. But yeah, I just think that might be more Homefront wasn't the best game that could attempt that thing.
Well, I kind of killed it with that thing there. With Homefront, I was just looking up Homefront. No, because I think that was one of the things that really killed the not just the multiplayer features for games for me, but those huge ones, 16 and above. After Homefront, I just was kind of pigeonholed in mentally, just like, I can't deal with this anymore. There's just too much going on. And I also was starting not to enjoy it unless I knew people I was going to play with. So if they were on a team together with me and we're playing against people who obviously you don't know, that's fine. But just sitting down and go, I'm just going to join into this whole thing with people you don't know everything, kind of took it away from me.
It's like playing paintball with a bunch of strangers. You don't want to do that. You want to go with
you want to have at least one friend that you can when things are good or bad, you can talk behind everybody else's back like, that guy's an asshole. Yeah, I know. Block him, report him. Stupid 12-year-old kicking my ass.
10, 12-year-olds.
Let's talk about Call of Duty Black Ops 3.
That was last night, right? Midnight release.
I thought it was today.
Night?
Yes, last night, and then in the stores and everything today. And a lot going on with this game here. This one I've actually been hearing some buzz about.
Yeah, so this one, so it's the third and presumably final entry in the long-running Black Ops series for Call of Duty. And so over the course of the Black Ops series, we kind of went from near future to a little bit further future to like pretty distant future. I think this takes place in like 2060, and soldiers have like different cybernetic augmentations. They can, it kind of is like the same thing as if you played Titanfall, where you can run along the walls, you can do all kinds of different like maneuvers to get higher up in the map. And then there's also different abilities. If you go onto multiplayer, you don't play as like a generic soldier anymore, like you've always played in Call of Duty. Now you play as one of I think it's 9 specialists, where they all have like distinct personalities and backstories, and they all have special abilities and special weapons that you can use once your meter recharges. So like there's one guy who, his ability is he can run super fast for 20 seconds or 10 seconds, something like that. And then if you choose to do his ability, that's what you get. Or you can choose to go into a battle with his special weapon as like his unique thing.
His dick.
I don't think that's a weapon, Eric.
No, that's downloadable content.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, with his thing, he takes like these spikes and just jumps up into like the middle of a group of people, and it sends up shockwaves and takes out anyone caught in that blast. There's another character that has like a bow and arrow, and if you hit him with the arrow explodes and just blows.
Now you're talking.
Pieces. So that's pretty cool. And then there's one character that has this ability where it's called a glitch, I think, and it makes it so that the
that's not a positive feature for a game, sir. That's a factory defect.
They're doing a really good job with the spin machine this time. But what it does is it actually makes it so your character teleports back to like where he was 4 seconds ago. So like if you're running and
that would be so aggravating.
So frustrating.
That they're like, all right, cool, you just found a clearing to jump over, and you jump over, and then all of a sudden you're back over there. What the fuck? Now there's 8 guys blocking me. I can't get anywhere.
You activate it yourself, so like you can choose when you want to use it.
Well, that's your own fault.
Yeah, so you're just like, no, but you just like fuck with people. Like, you're like, where is that guy? He keeps disappearing in front of me.
Is this the Flash?
Yeah.
It would be fun if you know the spots where there's like landmines and you glitch right back to that. So like, or you lean over and you tag, you grab your friend's controller when he's not paying attention, you make him do it.
Yeah.
Any way not to play the game properly, I'm usually having a good time with.
At some point, all of those games become about fucking with other people. Like that's where the fun is.
That's what Red Dead Redemption became for us. I think when we were playing online a lot, like how can we mess with people in the Wild West and
Brian, did you ever play Red Dead with us?
Yeah, a couple times.
Okay. I miss that game so much.
You, Roland, right?
Roland, Big Kev, you. I think Eastside Dave at one point was playing with us, and then a bunch of other guys that are regular listeners to Opie and Jimmy, and we follow on Twitter and stuff. They were all playing with us. I miss that kind of game. Because the first person shooter games, I know they're so popular, and I think it's just a formula that in some way a lot of it's almost lazy, I think, a little bit, where all these game companies are just constantly putting out new versions of a tested franchise just to put them out there, because it's like almost like cut and paste. We have the thing here, let's just change the story and the background,
of course,
and go through it. And in a way, I think that's kind of lazy, and I get so bored of that stuff. I'm not good at the first-person shooter, so I don't want to play them.
Sure, I'm terrible at them. My fingers don't move.
Like with Halo, I'd play the story, but I'm not. I'll maybe, again, with friends, I'll go online and try something, but otherwise, I'm not buying the game to go and, like with Black Ops here. I'll try it, I'll have some fun, but I like doing the things by myself, and then when I want to, I'll go include everybody. I hate when you're forced to just interact with everybody, and it fucks up your whole game.
That's why you don't
experience.
play MMOs.
Yeah.
No. Well, that's a little different because MMOs are on the PC, and I told you I'm afraid of getting addicted to it. That's why I never played World of Warcraft.
Speaking of Call of Duty, Brian, and I don't know if there's any. I did say duty. Sorry. I don't know if there's anything more to this other than just the headline, but I saw something today. Is Activision and Blizzard launching some sort of studio where they're going to develop Call of Duty movies?
I didn't see that
because I know BlizzCon is going on right now.
Yeah, I did see the BlizzCon press conference today, and they didn't mention anything about that. They showed off the first trailer of the Warcraft movie, though, so that was kind of cool if you're a fan of that series.
I saw it. It was pretty impressive. I got to admit, I've been a little bit scared, but one thing Blizzard has always been good at, as far as I'm concerned, is their cinematics and their effects. And I knew that as long as they had a decent team behind it, they could make a good movie. I mean, it's a really rich history with a lot of backstory. So I was pretty impressed with that trailer.
Yeah, it looked pretty good.
Yeah, I thought I had seen something between Activision and Blizzard partnering together to put out TV shows and movies. Call of Duty was mentioned and Skylanders was mentioned. The Skylanders animated series and then a Call of Duty cinematic universe. But I didn't see anything else. So,
I mean, I could totally see that happening. Activision's been very, for the past maybe 5 or 6 years, they've been very antsy to kind of get some sort of television presence or movie presence. For a while there, when Guitar Hero was like super popular, they were talking about a Guitar Hero movie, and thank God that never happened. That would have been
that would have been terrible.
Yeah, it would have been maybe the worst video game movie of all time.
Worse than Doom?
Worse than the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Oh, The Wiz! Wow. Wow.
No, the Super Mario with John Leguizamo. That wasn't even based on the comics. It was or the video game, rather.
What? No, The Wiz is the Michael Jackson.
That's the Michael Jackson
Wizard of Oz remake.
Yeah.
What's that
Wizard.
one?
That's Wizard. That's entirely different.
With the Jenny from
one of the greatest moments of my life is seeing Super Mario Brothers 3 and then screaming at my parents why I can't get $80 to go buy Super Mario Brothers 3.
So, Brian,
you hear that, Mom? I still want it.
Damn it!
It's more expensive now.
You said Activision was hesitant for years to get into films and TV. Is that?
I was saying they're antsy too.
Okay, yeah, because I know Nintendo has been hesitant for years, right? But finally, it looks like they might do something. And then there was that fan film earlier this week. I assume you saw the Metroid fan film.
Yeah, I did.
That was pretty awesome. I mean, I've been saying for years that if Nintendo had one license to really break into films with, Metroid would be the one. A good space, horror.
Metroid's great.
Did you see that fan-made trailer?
The what's it called? The Sky Calls or something like that?
Yeah. I'm going to throw the Warcraft and the Metroid thing up on it's Erik Nagel on Twitter so everyone can check it out.
Metroid is such a great game. And you can totally turn that into a cinematic thing, far better than Doom. I think.
Absolutely.
It's already got the crying game ending where you're like, oh my God, it's a girl. Whoops.
Yeah, and I mean,
spoiler, Eric.
And Metroid Prime was such a great atmospheric experience that I could easily see that becoming a good movie a good movie going experience, better than anything with Mario or even Zelda. There was talks earlier this year of a rumored live-action Zelda series on Netflix, but I haven't heard anything about that since.
Right. Now, see, I think Zelda could work as a series as opposed to a movie, but Metroid is absolutely meant to be
Metroid would definitely
franchise.
do well.
Yeah.
Let me just throw back a little bit, too, because I read that Zelda thing, too, and I've been waiting for more information of that.
Netflix,
yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's what I had heard, yeah.
Did you remember the old Super Mario Brothers Super Show?
Of course.
They used to be on in the afternoons when you were a kid after school. And Fridays was Zelda.
Yep.
So you tune in thinking, you're going to see Captain Lou Albano and not Captain Lou Albano running around having weird adventures and stuff in the old Steam Pipe Alley set, it looked like. And then Friday was the Zelda stuff. They put that out as a DVD box set.
They did.
And I bought the thing, and the dialogue is horrible.
Oh, of course.
But the stories are good. So that you're kind of like, all right, he's got to keep going, excuse me, Prince. And you're like, shut the fuck up. Just fight the pig thing and get the Triforce and just move on.
Move on with
pig
your
thing's
life.
canon, I know.
But
it was a great show. So if the anime, and that was late 80, 89, 90, somewhere in there.
I would think early 90s.
I would say
probably.
maybe 90, 91.
I can't wait to see with the technology now what they would do.
If they do it.
It'd be Game of Thrones.
Again, Nintendo is hesitant, as opposed to Activision. Nintendo is hesitant. For years, they haven't wanted to do it. Everybody keeps saying they should, but...
I mean, but that kind of genre, not just the video game genre, but the story genre, has never been bigger. Because it's got a little bit of Game of Thrones-ish, stuff in there. Mm-hmm. A lot of the show, the Pirates, even Black Sail has some features in there that would work good with Zelda. Like, all these kind of shows would make up this particular series really well. So I don't know why they're just...
Listen, if people will pay exorbitant amount of money to go to an opera hall and listen to the music of Zelda, there's no way in hell that
By the way, if you can go see that...
I hear it's amazing.
I regret... I could have bought tickets and I didn't.
When it was in Newark, right?
No, was it Newark?
It was in Newark.
I think they did something at Radio City Music Hall, too. I'm not sure. Maybe it was one of the two. But I knew I was like, oh, I want to go. It's a work night. I really can't go do it.
School night, damn it.
And then I saw them on Colbert. 50-piece orchestra in the theater, and they're playing the whole thing with the movie, and they make a movie version of each particular game for what they're playing. It plays in the background there, and I was like, I should have went.
So what I'm saying,
that was cool seeing him on Colbert, wasn't it?
Yeah. You never see that thing on network television or even regular television. It's usually like a PBS special, like on a Saturday night, and then all of a sudden that 800 number pops up, and they're like, "Look, you can get a free Channel 13 bag if you donate, or we won't continue the symphony here."
It's because Colbert's a big honking nerd.
Yeah, no, he is. He's had a lot of great stuff on there.
Yeah, he's not afraid to bring that kind of stuff in, and again, it makes sense to do it now. It's never been hotter, so
right. All right. One other thing before Call of Duty, and then with Call of Duty, and then we'll move on. For Black Ops 3, they have a zombie mode or a zombie story in this game, right?
Because everybody has a zombie mode.
Yeah, that's what I'm leading to. Is the zombie thing finally going to be burnt out yet? Because it was one thing when Walking Dead started, and then they started working them into video games. I know Red Dead Redemption had a zombie downloadable content, which, by the way, is a lot of fun. But then every game started having a zombie patch or a zombie download for it, and this is still going on. Are people sick of zombies yet?
I mean, the fervor has died down a little bit, but I mean, Call of Duty, the first time zombie mode popped up, I think it was 2008 with Call of Duty World at War, so that actually predates Walking Dead being on TV. At least I think it does.
Yeah, it definitely does.
Okay. But yeah, so I mean, that's kind of around the time the zombie craze started hitting the games industry, but yeah, since The Walking Dead became such a juggernaut of entertainment, it's kind of spread everywhere, and now it's starting to dial back a little bit. Like, we didn't see any zombie mode in GTA 4 or 5, and, I doubt that we'll see any type of thing like that unless, the fans really demand it. But, Dead Rising 3 was, like, one of the big launch titles for Xbox One a couple years ago, and it did well, but not as well as like Dead Rising 2 did.
But like, if you have a game that's supposed to be zombie mode,
then that's okay.
Something. It's when they zombie mode everything. Like, are they going to zombie mode Battlefront because of the Death Troopers and that expanded universe storyline? Like, I could easily see them trying to figure out a way to do that.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, EA's in control of Battlefront now, and they're not afraid to add different things and different elements into a game if they think it's going to be popular. So, sure. I wouldn't put it past them. But, there's already kind of like a survival mode, so it could even make sense for that mode. But, yeah, I don't foresee that happening unless they really want to dig deep or this game's like super popular and they want to develop a whole new enemy type.
All right, let's move off of Call of Duty here and into some other things. But before we do that, Lewis, you had a question? You wanted to talk to Brian?
Brian, do you play first-person shooter games?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, there's an epidemic going on, and I need your help. I want to figure out how we can stop it with first-person shooter games.
You don't play when the Asian kids are on.
What can a video game company do, or a game to do to stop camping? Because that's the worst thing. It's never going to go away.
That's what you were talking about, Eric.
Right.
I mean, Call of Duty tried to do one thing, which it helped to an extent. Team Deathmatch is like the key camp fest that you always see, because all you have to do is find a good spot, and then you just pick off anyone that walks past your field of vision, and you'll rarely die, and you'll end up killing like tons of people. But they did a thing called Kill Confirmed, which was just pretty much the sole purpose of that was to get you out and about and stop standing in one spot. So when you kill someone, you have to run and get their dog tags, and that's what really, I guess, confirms the kill. And if you don't get it before like an opponent picks up the dog tags, it's called kill denied, and you don't get as many points for taking that person out.
Right.
So that's one thing that some developers have tried. Another thing is, make so the maps kind of evolve over the course of the match. That's something that's been done to a lesser extent, and that's kind of more of a thing that's been put in place to just make the map or the matches more interesting, less so than camping. Another thing that Call of Duty is kind of doing well is just making it fun to run around. Like, with all the new traversal options in Call of Duty where you can like power slide and double jump and, run across walls, it's kind of like not as fun to just sit in one spot. Like, if you really want to score high, you can probably still camp and be successful at it. But with people, like, you know, you look over and you see somebody running up a wall, you're like, that'd be so cool if I could do that right now. But no, I'm sitting here and just waiting for guys so I can pick them off. I think that's probably the best way. Just make it more fun to run around rather than just, you know, feel like you're a moving tank.
I think they need a 30-second shot clock. If you stand still for more than 30 seconds, you blow up.
Oh my God, I was just thinking that.
I was thinking the same
I'm like, if you're squatting in the tree or something like that, you like maybe you spontaneously combust.
No, it's after 30 seconds, it should just launch you into the air so everyone can just shoot you out of the air. Yeah.
So you're on the battlefield and just off in the distance, you're seeing bodies fly up into the sky.
Yeah, that's what you do.
It's a shot
so
clock.
good.
That's the answer.
Yeah, it's like speed, but with your body. Like you have to keep moving in a certain.
Exactly.
Then it would be Crank.
Crank, yes, it's Crank.
That's right.
That's a great movie franchise.
I also think
I love the Crank mode.
Yes.
Right?
Oh my God,
awesome would
Crank
that
mode.
be? Crank would be a great game.
You cannot stop running.
That's it.
No matter if they're shooting, you can't hide. You got to plow through for special bonus levels. Or your heart explodes.
Yeah.
I also think they should give you some of that invisible wire, so that you can tie off, and when people run past buildings, it would like cut their head off, and you don't even see it.
Wow, this got dark really quick.
Well, I'm just trying to add fun to the game.
Can we go back to Trunk or Treat? It was so much more peaceful then.
That's where they put all the bodies.
Brian, what else do we have here? We have it in the back, and the thing was, I forgot to bring the PlayStation, and Activision gave us the new Guitar Hero set.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's actually pretty fun. So this is the year after like 5 years or so since we last saw a Guitar Hero or Rock Band game. They're finally bringing both of them back this year. They both came out last month. And they're also taking drastically different directions from each other for the first time since this rivalry began.
Brian, wasn't at one point, didn't they think it was going out of business? Because I know the other one, the Rockstar one with the drum set and everything, that did well for a while and was really hurting the Guitar Hero series. But then that thing kind of went, belly up too.
So Guitar Hero went away, I think, in 2010. I think that was the last Guitar Hero, or maybe 2009. Then they just said, hey, sales aren't what they are, what we want them to be. It costs a lot of money to license this music because, I mean, that's the main cost, I think, for a lot of these games. Is it can cost, $1 million or so. I mean, that's an arbitrary number right there, but it can cost a lot of money to license these tracks. Like if you want a song from, Metallica, it's going to cost a lot of money to get that. And then they always do the downloadable content and everything. So I think Activision just determined that, Guitar Hero wasn't selling as well as it once was.
Right.
It still costs the same amount of money, if not more, to license the music. We're just going to cut it off for a while. And they said, if we come back, if we can think of a good way to make it a different experience or come up with a good reason to bring it back, we will.
Right.
And that's what they did with Guitar Hero Live. They completely got rid of the computer graphics. This time there are two modes. There's live mode, which is the offline mode where you play and it's actually a first-person view. So you're up on stage and you're playing guitar and you're actually looking out over the crowd rather than the camera just kind of focus on your guitarist.
Right.
And it's actually a live-action crowd and live-action band that you're up with. And that, it's kind of intimidating when you first walk out on stage and you look out and you're playing a big festival and you just see maybe 200,000 people out in the crowd and they're actually real people looking back at you. And then, based on how you play, the crowd and your band actually reacts to you.
I like the commercial with Lenny Kravitz being booed.
Yeah.
Just like real life.
It's like, why are they booing me? It's like, because you suck.
It's not like the crowd yelling at you because you stink at Dragon Force.
Yeah.
Get off the stage.
So Guitar Hero, it's called Live, right?
Guitar Hero Live.
Guitar Hero Live.
So that's the one mode, and then there's a mode called TV where you just turn on a channel pretty much. There's two channels right now.
I thought you played theme songs. Like I am shredding on Facts of Life.
They could have the Demolition Man downloadable content, and it's just old franchise songs.
Right.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
And then then the bonus updates. It's like download commercials. And now you're just jamming out to Dr. Pepper.
Yeah.
But with that mode, basically, it's like a playable version of MTV back in the day because it's just music videos and you play along to the music videos. And then you can also do on demand, but you have to pay for that. You can earn play tokens, but then you can also, through playing the mode more on the channels, you can earn you can either earn the play tokens that way, or you can pay real money and buy song plays to play the songs you actually want to play on. But other than that, you can just kind of play along to your heart's content on the TV mode, just on the channels that play whatever's on. You can do the schedule like, okay, for the next hour they're going to be playing rock songs, and then for the next hour after that they're going to be playing pop and then metal and so on. And that's kind of cool. It's just the microtransactions are a little confusing, a little annoying. That I wish that it wasn't there. I'd almost rather they do downloadable content than the fact that you pay to play this song one time and then that's it.
Yeah, that's kind of annoying.
That's lame.
Yeah, but I mean, other than that, it's a pretty cool package. They redid the controller.
What's the price for this?
I think it's $100 for the single guitar package, because you have to buy a new guitar because they redid the controller. So rather than just the 5 buttons on one row, they did 2 rows of 3 buttons, and it plays so much different. Like, I used to be like really good at Guitar Hero and Rock Band, and I've not even made it up to expert on this new one. It's been out for like 3 weeks now, or 2 weeks. So it's pretty tough.
Is this worth getting now? I mean, just because if you're a fan of the series, of course, it's something new. You'll definitely want to go out and get it. But for people who maybe never played Guitar Hero, or haven't in a long time and are a little sketchy on maybe I should get this or not, is this worth the buy?
For me, it is, and that's only because of the way I use it. I use it as a music discovery tool, like more so than anything else. Like, when Guitar Hero 2 and 3 came out, like back in the late 2000s, I was all about like, all right, I'm going to go and play this song, and I'm going to discover, like, you knew you would discover new music to listen to. I found so many great bands just playing Guitar Hero games. And so if you're using it like that, like, this is awesome because, you play those randomized channels and you always like are hearing music you've never heard before. So that's kind of a cool thing about it. If you're going to, if you want to own the music that you have that's in the game, you probably want to go the Rock Band route because they're still releasing downloadable content, all of your downloadable content from last generation if you bought it on like the same console family. So like if you own an Xbox One right now,
right,
and you have a lot of Xbox 360 DLC, you can actually bring most of that forward and have it on your Xbox One now. And you can also use all the old instruments, but if you have an Xbox One, you have to have a legacy adapter because Xbox is weird with its security chips. But so like, and it's also the same experience as it used to be. Like, the 5 buttons on the guitar, you can use the drum kit, and you can use the mic. Whereas Guitar Hero is back to like, it's all about the streaming stuff. It's the new guitar controller. You can sing, but it's not really like a forefront instrument. And then there's no drums whatsoever on that.
What about the tambourine or the triangle?
Oh, man, if only there was Triangle Hero. That would be awesome.
I'd play Triangle Hero like a boss.
Shred that piccolo. So, Guitar Hero Live versus Rock Band 4, which is the one that you recommend people go out and get?
It's going to come down to which one you want. I personally prefer Rock Band 4, but that's just because of the familiarity, and I own so many songs from, Rock Band 2 and 3. Guitar Hero Live is awesome if you're looking for a new challenge. I mean, if you're a fan of the genre, I highly recommend checking out both of them. If you only have money for one, just do your research, decide if you want to like have all the music that you used to have, or if you want it kind of like a new challenge. Then a new challenge, go for Guitar Hero Live. Kind of that familiar feeling of a better party game to have friends over to play. That's Rock Band 4.
Brian, I just want to bring back just a tiny bit to Call of Duty. We have Greg in Virginia who wants to talk to you. Greg, what's up?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good, man. How are you?
So, doing great. Loving the show.
Thanks.
Hey, so there actually is a cranked mode in Call of Duty Ghosts. And the way it works is you have to get kills or you'll explode.
Oh. So we just ripped off a game that we didn't know we ripped off.
But he said you have to get kills, or else you explode. Which actually, kind of, you could still kind of camp, I guess, in that, depending on if you're in the good spot. But I guess you really have to keep moving. You want to get him consistent.
So the key thing is, it's actually very difficult to camp. It's possible, but it's not a complete ripoff. You guys had an original idea, but if you don't kill people, you'll die, and then you spawn in the middle of people killing each other. And then you'll certainly have to kill somebody, or you'll die.
We improved upon the idea.
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Now you don't have to kill anybody. You just have to keep running.
So I don't care if anybody dies, as long as you just don't camp someplace and pick people off.
Yeah. Were you aware of that, Brian? Call of Duty Ghost?
I did not. I didn't play a whole lot of Ghost. I thought it was one of the worst games in the Call of Duty series, to be honest.
All right.
I thought the level design wasn't great. The story was kind of crap, in my opinion. And I know a lot of people kind of were turned off by the Call of Duty series with that one. Advanced Warfare last year was a much better game, in my opinion. And Black Ops 3, I haven't played enough of to kind of give like a verdict, but I'm having a lot of fun with it.
Okay. 1 second. Greg, I'm going to put you on hold. We're going to hook you up with something, all right?
Oh, thanks. Appreciate it.
All right, we'll take your information. Brian, let's get through the rest of this here. We were talking earlier. I was looking at buying a game system for somebody, and
Sure.
For me, Eric?
No.
For me.
And I was saying, what about some of these older games? I know Xbox was doing this thing where they're going to allow some of the older Xbox 360 games to be available for the one downloadable. And it's only going to be about 100 games, you said, that they're announcing?
To start, yeah, they're announcing that, I think, on Thursday of next week. They're going to say which 100 games, and then later on in the month it'll be available for everyone.
See, and a couple of the games I wanted, to get for other people, and those aren't on the list, or we don't know if they're on the list. But it just makes it so difficult where I understand they got to make money and put these games out and whatever, but nowadays you'll make money, too, by putting up your old series because everything's so digital. That if they open up the stores for Xbox and for PlayStation where you can just buy the game, download it to your system, it doesn't matter how far back it goes, you can still use it on that system, not just, we're going to allow 100 games from 360 to be available on Xbox One.
They've got to be convinced that they sell enough copies of it to warrant the server space and the time it takes to probably actually convert it.
Well, not just, okay, fine, fair enough on
right,
that.
so if only 4 people buy it, it's clearly not worth it for them to do it.
Yeah.
But nowadays, converting it and storing it is really nothing. It's not taking up that much
Game
space.
takes up a lot of content.
I've never done it,
Games can
so I
take
don't
up a lot of content, right? A couple
Giggles
gigs
is still
per game.
on the 64.
Yeah, I don't have anything.
But I also wanted to talk about the fact that with PlayStation has the PS Now. And this I wasn't aware of, that you can get the older games for PlayStation, but it's a streaming thing. It's not like you get the game and you download it to the system and then you can play the game. It's streaming live as you're playing it. So if your connection fucks up, you fucked up your whole game.
Right.
Yeah, that's really and also the prices now are probably a little bit better, but when it was in beta, maybe 6 months ago, the prices were just unbelievably outrageous. Like it was just a ridiculous, not worth it amount to play an old game that was on PS3 on your PS4. But I was looking over the prices today, and they seem like they've come down a lot, but I think it's still not there. You're not going to get the same experience playing it streaming as you are, playing it a local copy, just because, when you're streaming, no matter how good your connection is, you're still not going to get the same visual fidelity that you will when you're playing a local copy. I think the streaming games is a really cool idea. I just wish there was another way to play PS3 games on my PS4. The company that probably does it the best is Wii U and Nintendo.
Yeah, because you can get old games for the Wii U.
Yeah, they have a thing called Virtual Console on both Wii U and 3DS, and I have pretty much every Mario game, every Zelda game that they've released on my Wii U. Like I have Ocarina of Time from N64 on my Wii U.
Nice.
I have, Super Mario Brothers 3 that we talked about earlier. I have that on my Wii U, and it's not $80; it's like $8. So
where are we price wise for Kid Icarus or Faxanadu?
Ooh, I love Kid Icarus.
I don't know if they're on.
I was just kidding, Brian.
Eggplant men everywhere.
I just had a quick question. With the holidays coming up, are there any really good bundle deals that are going to be going on with any of the systems? Because I knew that Walmart had leaked, I guess, that PlayStation 4 was going to have a really good sale or something like that. Is there any good bundles coming up you could tell us about that you might know of?
Well, Black Friday is obviously the day to do it. That, and if Cyber Monday, if that's still a thing, even. I mean, just kind of scour. A lot of companies haven't announced what they're doing. Right now, probably the best bundles that you probably are going to see deals on. The Black Ops 3 PlayStation 4 bundle just came out, and I have a feeling we're going to see some sort of deal on that. Fallout 4, which is arguably the biggest game of the year, is coming out on Tuesday, and I have a feeling we're going to see some sort of bundle with some retailers on that. The Wii U, I would look for some deals there. It's so much is up in the air right now because not everyone, I don't think anybody's officially announced their Black Friday deals yet. There's been some leaks here and there, but nothing really concrete. So yeah, the Wii U, I would look for something with Mario Maker, which is freaking awesome, by the way. You get to make your own Mario levels. And then Splatoon is another big one that Wii U has had, and I know they have bundles for each of those, so I would look for those to be discounted on Black Friday or Cyber Monday. And then Xbox One has a Halo bundle, which I would think is going to see some sort of discount this whatever weekend that is, Thanksgiving weekend.
Brian, we're going to have to take a break in just a few minutes here, but let's run down the rest of the list real quick. Give us some quick hits as far as games people should be going out and purchasing.
Sure. So if you're a Wii U fan, like I said, Splatoon and Super Mario Maker are among the best that it's seen this year. But Yoshi's Woolly World is also one I really enjoyed. It's a game you can play with another person on the same screen, which is kind of rare these days. So you're playing. It's kind of a throwback to Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island on SNES. So you play as Yoshi, and the graphics are all like kind of in the style of yarn and wool and everything. So it's kind of like cutesy graphics, but it can get pretty challenging, especially near the end. It's fun for co-op. I played with my girlfriend the whole way through, and it was a blast. Then let's see, what else was on that list? Do you have that in front of you?
Let's see here. Destiny, the Taken King?
Yeah, that's a good one. A lot of people had a problem with the story of Destiny when it was released last year, but this year with the Taken King, they revamped pretty much everything about the storytelling. You have Nathan Fillion, who plays a prominent role in this, and then they also did a lot with like the questing. Like it's easier to turn in quests as you do it. It's a lot more of a smooth experience, and it's kind of like the Destiny it feels like the Destiny that should have been released originally. And it's also, if you haven't caught up on like the game, so alone the expansion is $40. But if you want to catch up and buy the game and then all the downloadable content plus this new expansion, you can get, it's called Destiny the Taken King Legendary Edition, and it's only $60. And I'm sure that'll be another thing that pops up on Black Friday as well. Quick
Destiny story. Paul McCartney, I want to say I heard him on the Nerdist podcast earlier this year. He has a song that's in Destiny, the game that came out. So they're saying, well, how did you get tied into that and everything? And he said, well, his grandkid was into all these games and said, oh, this would be so cool if you were a part of this. So he's like, this is a whole world that I'm not a part of, but if he thinks it's that important, whatever, he went and sought out. He said, I'd like to do something, and hooked up with Destiny. So we think this is great. He makes a brand new song and promote it. And then he said, and he's like, but they put the bloody thing at the end of the game. So you don't get to hear the new song unless you beat the game.
And, another quick note about Destiny, for those who aren't familiar, it's done by Bungie, and this is their first game they've put out following their
Halo.
Their creation of the Halo franchise, and then they moved on from that after the most couple of recent games.
Hold on a second, Brian. Dave in Michigan, what's up, man?
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
Hey, so I thought I heard you said earlier that it was something about porting games or making games available on different consoles, even older consoles. Is that correct?
Yeah, I was saying about in a digital age, why don't they just convert all the games and put it up there and purchase it that way, instead of being like Xbox only putting out 100 select games from the 360 to make it available for the Xbox One.
Sure. So at a hardware level, it's extremely difficult to make games available. It's not like it's an easy conversion that they have to do. I don't work for gaming companies, but I've been a gamer for forever. I work in the IT industry, and I know a lot about hardware. And the architecture between a 360, say, and an Xbox One is completely different. They have to completely rewrite, basically, a lot of the code that goes behind those games. So it actually takes a lot of effort and a lot of money to put into those games.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Just sounds a lot of like, I don't really want to do it here. I think you can get this done.
This isn't selecting a WAV file, converting to MP3 while you get a hot dog and a beer.
Oh, damn it.
Right. But, you also have to look at the business factor of it. a lot of the games that people are going to buy, if they have a 360, more than likely they're going to upgrade to an Xbox One. So they're not going to, they're not going to go backwards, I guess I would say. Because it's not lucrative for software companies when they're already struggling a little bit to sell the games as it is, and make a profit for them to go backwards. At least in my opinion, I guess.
Well, I choose to believe in the power of positive thinking, and I think this will get done. I don't want to hear your technical mumbo-jumbo.
I think you're a naive young man, Mr.
Yes,
Eric.
I am sticking my head in the sand. But, David, thank you for calling.
Suffocate.
I'm going to put you on hold, and we're going to send you something, all right?
Oh, thanks, man.
All right. Brian, go ahead.
To that point, Xbox is making this push for the backwards compatibility. So a lot of it is based off of emulation now.
Right.
Which is done at a hardware level, but it's kind of like using software to make it so that the architecture of the Xbox 360 works on the Xbox One. And the way Phil Spencer, who's one of the head guys over at Xbox, pitched it at E3 this year when they announced the backwards compatibility, is that all a publisher is going to have to do, the only work that they should have to do to make their Xbox 360 game work on Xbox One is pretty much flip a switch and let Microsoft know they want it to be on Xbox One. Whether or not that's true or if that was just kind of like, oh, we want to wow the crowd with this announcement and how easy it is and how much work we've put into it on our end, that remains to be seen. But they're making it seem like the ball is going to be in the publisher's court, because that's another thing is the publisher has to sign off in order for a game to be made available on a new platform. We're seeing that with like the Wii U, and the Wii never had GoldenEye, even though it has N64 games. It never had GoldenEye come over because now Microsoft owns Rare, who is the developer of GoldenEye. They've made some deals to get Donkey Kong Country just because that's a Nintendo property, but yeah, GoldenEye, you're probably never going to see that on a Nintendo console ever again, because at least not the original one.
What has to happen is there has to be a hack behind the scenes, and then Sony will sell Spider-Man to Marvel, and everybody will be okay.
Wow, there's a lot going on in gaming.
Who knew it was so deep and dark?
Right. Brian, we do have to go to break here. We've been on for a long time. Thank you so much. Anything else real quick that you want to mention before we do the plugs and everything?
Game Informer is having we're doing a thing called Extra Life this weekend. So if you go to GameInformer.com, we're going to be streaming games all day tomorrow. It's a 25-hour marathon, I think. We're trying to raise $25,000 for sick kids here in Minnesota. So if you feel like checking it out, we're taking requests and playing Rock Band and taking your song requests and everything. So that would be really awesome if you guys wanted to help out, or if anybody wanted to help out. And you can just tune in and give us hell for how awful we are.
All right, send me that information. We'll put it up on the Twitter and Facebook and everything else. You can follow Brian at Brian P. Shea on Twitter, and check out his hot girlfriend, too.
All right.
A very, very famous cosplayer.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
He is never coming on the show again, Eric. You just sealed that deal.
No.
It's over.
Brian's a sweetheart. Brian, thank you so much, man. We will talk to you soon.
Hey, man, anytime. Thanks for having me.
All right, no problem. Take care. All right, we do have to take a break.
I hope
Randy,
he stabs you in your sleep.
Yeah, me too.
Well, at least wait till my order clears before I order the pictures.
Fair enough.
She signs them personally.
Ooh, wow.
Yes. Too much information. Anyway,
yeah, really.
Randy from NECA Toys is here. We're going to get into some of that stuff of their new releases and what they got coming for the holidays, and a couple other news stories I want to get to here. What do we want to tease before we go to break?
I really want to talk about Star Wars, and now that Randy is here, he could definitely, he's a big honking Star Wars guy too. But actually, we want to mention too, coming up on December 4th, Friday, December 4th.
Right.
We have our holiday winter beer tasting show. We're bringing it back. The beer tasting.
Nice.
Yeah, our friends from the Masters of None are going to be here, Jay, Mike, and Art, as well as Ken Cage coming back to the show.
Right.
And 2SP Brewing, they'll be here in
out of Philadelphia. They'll be here.
They had that awesome pumpkin beer. If they have some, if you're listening,
yeah, please bring that back.
Some of the pumpkin
that
beer.
was awesome.
That's going to be going on that night. And are we still speaking to other brewers?
Yes, of course we are.
All right. So if you have a brewery that you work for, or maybe that have them reach out to the show if they want to be involved in that holiday show. You can reach us erockcomment@gmail.com or on Twitter and Instagram, erock radio and Key Stuff OG.
Right. Yeah. If you've got some stuff that you specialize in for winter, for the holiday, like Matt said, would like to come in studio, and it's not a matter of of who's got the better beer. It's us trying everything that we haven't tried before.
What it is.
Everyone gets their plugs, their exposure, and everyone has a good time. And I think we might have some in-house entertainment for that show, which we'll probably announce in the coming weeks.
Navy SEALs.
Right. Rainbows.
Rainbows.
So, yes, erockcomment@gmail.com or reach out to Matt and myself, Erock Radio on Twitter and Geek Stuff OG on Twitter. We'd love to have you here. When we had Ken Cage and 2SP Brewing on last time, a couple reached out. They said, we'd like to do something like that too. I'm like, well, we could do that every week, but it might be a little weird.
Every week would be tough.
Right.
But...
So this is like, you know what? We're just going to do the 3 hours of everything beer on this show for the holidays, for the winter, and just have a good time. Maybe some guests. We'll have, like I said, in-house entertainment.
No beer pong with $1,000 worth of.
No,
but that was so much fun.
It was fun. We'll tell that story again soon. We do have to take a break. Lisa, do you have to leave?
I have to leave. Sorry.
Oh, no.
I hate to leave.
We bored her out of the building.
Oh, and you're going to talk about Star Wars and a box of toys walked through the door. I'm
You
so
get
sad.
nothing. We'll put something aside for you.
Oh, yeah.
Where you got a gig?
Yes, I have stuff going on, and I wanted to plug our big apartment show for next week because Giddles is going to be a guest.
I am.
Finally.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm going to come by. It's
I
going to be
can't
fun.
wait.
Huzzah.
So that's Wednesday, ourbigapartmentshow.com. And as far as shows in the city, I just want to plug Glamour Puss at Sink Bar on the 20th.
Ooh.
And also the Knitting Factory on the 22nd. So,
Okay.
yeah, thanks. Thanks for having me on. I'm sorry I had to leave.
No, that's fine. She's just going to ring and run.
That's fine.
Ditch it. What is it? Dine and Dad?
Dine and
I-
Dad.
It's called ghosting.
I got to
Yeah,
go.
exactly.
Eric.
All right, let's take a
Keep
break.
moving.
We'll be back in a little bit.
All right.
We're back. Call Eric and Matt now. 866-969-1969. It's Erik Nagel.
Welcome back to It's Erik Nagel. 866-969-1969 is the phone number to get in touch with us here at the program. We're giving a bunch of stuff away, talking about all kinds of stuff. We just spoke with Brian Shea from Game Informer, giving out all the new games that are coming out, have come out, and things that we were suggesting that you might want to look at for the holidays. So thank you to him. Brian P. Shea on Twitter. And, of course, GameInformer.com. And it's Erik Nagel on Twitter. We have all that information up there. Matt, Giddles are here. Lisa had to run off to do some gigs. But Randy made it from NECA Toys. Randy, how are you, sir?
Good.
Wait, that
Having me down.
Why is... try that. There you go.
We try again?
There we go.
There we go. Now we can hear you.
Hello. Thank you
Hi.
for having me.
Welcome back.
Yes.
Last time we saw you was San Diego?
Yeah, in July. Yeah.
Wow, long time.
Yeah, it goes quick.
It was a lot of fun, though. And NECA was very... they were kind enough. They were very nice to let me use their pavilion to do some of the broadcasts that we had out there since the company didn't have anywhere else for me to go. That all belonged to Entertainment Weekly.
You're a hermit.
Right. But the guys at NECA let me use... They had a 2-tier setup. So I was up on the top of their thing, looking over the entire floor.
Nice.
San Diego. It was great. You're going to have to come this year.
I know.
We put in the paperwork.
I
So
don't
make
have
the
any
time.
weddings, I don't think, this year,
Good.
hopefully.
Tell your family to leave you alone.
Just for one weekend. 4 days. I need 4 days from you
Right.
people.
Anyway, so we're going to venture into the world of NECA Toys like we like to do time
Sure.
to time. NECAonline.com, right?
Yep.
And you can check out some stuff there. He's got some new product. He's got some new news for us. You guys had a bunch of stuff that you were talking about this week, right?
Yeah, a lot of, in the last couple weeks, some big stuff happening, like right at the end of October, we announced a big promotion with Warner Brothers Home Video, kind of a follow-up. Last year we did a Michael Keaton Batman.
Right.
For the 25th anniversary.
That was
And
amazing.
Yeah, so this year we came with 3 of them. We got a Adam West Batman, a Heath Ledger Joker, and a Chris Reeve Superman, and those are out in stores right now.
Is it part of a bundle deal? Or?
Yeah, it is. You can buy them separately. It's available only at Toys R Us as far as brick and mortar, and then it's available online through the Warner Brothers store on eBay. The deal is if you buy them with a DVD, like a catalog title, not a new title, but if you buy them with a catalog title from Warner Brothers, you get a discount. It's like $5 or $10 off or something when you do the bundle, and we're able to do these figures exclusively through this promotion because normally we can't touch a regular scale. It's
Right.
Mattel's license. They have Master Toy. And they're making all the stuff for the kiddies, and we can't do it. But this isn't looked at as a regular retail product. It's a home video tie-in product.
But with the But the Michael Keaton Batman, didn't you have to buy the DVD with that one?
You did.
The Blu-ray.
So they loosened it up a bit.
Yeah, I'm not sure of logistically. I don't want to ask. I'm glad we got to make them.
Yeah, I don't want to.
One turned to 3, and I hope 3 turns to 5.
Don't ruin this for them, Matt.
I'm sorry. No, I just wanted to confirm because I remember having to actually get the disc last time.
That was the mandate last time, and some stores enforced it more than others. Some stores, like if you scanned it and it worked, they would just charge you for it, but you paid the same price whether you got the movie or not. So you might as well take the movie.
Take the movie.
Even if you just regift it or something, but. This year, I think it's a little cheaper if you buy them together, but if you just want the figure, at least at Toys R Us, I believe you can do so.
That's great.
Yeah, these figures are awesome too. The detail is great.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, it's just something that we don't get to play in that universe normally. Like for DC characters in a 6-inch or 7-inch format, we can only do them really tall, like 18 inches and above, quarter scale. So to do them, the right way and how they should be done, and now people can have them with. They're Predators or they're Aliens or whatever. They're Jasons, they're Freddys. It's all in the same scale and format, and it looks awesome.
I mean, I'm not even a Superman guy. I mean, as a general rule of thumb, I actually hate Superman. But, the Christopher Reeve one. I mean, that's
the best one. To most people, even if they liked Man of Steel, he's still Superman.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
He was perfect in the role as
absolutely.
Superman,
and I'd actually own one. I would be happy to have one of those.
I mean, we hear from
he's asking you is what he's saying.
No, but what I'm saying is like it's an iconic version of Superman.
Yeah, of course.
That you don't see.
I mean, he's no Dean Cain, but still.
Well, who is really when you think about it?
I love the fact that NECA is not a company that takes no easily. They just go, okay, we will find a way to backdoor you on a lot of these things, and not in a bad way, because they're like, all right, like you said, we can't get the traditional designs or whatever, but then they go, well, what about the video game version? Well, what about the this little offshoot from a comic book kind of thing like that? And people thinking like, well, nobody really is. People going to want those? And NECA goes, yes, we think we could do something with this. And then they put it out, and it's amazing.
So you don't know this, and this is going a little deep, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it, but Randy knows. But the toy world, there's like all sorts of weird loopholes, and like you can't put out a bust, but you could put out a paperweight, which is a bust that you're calling a paperweight. Like there's all these weird loopholes with the licenses. It just so happens that they get the good stuff.
It's like, this isn't a pizza. This is cheesy sauce bread.
Exactly. It's an ornament. Yeah. You could actually you could screw in the loop for the ornament, or you could screw it out. And you know what? We're going to give you a base too, in case.
Some of their older products. One I keep referring to time and time again is Jason from Friday the 13th.
Of course.
The video game version. The one, I say it's the nighttime version.
All your friends are dead?
Right, exactly. Right before that cool graphic comes up. I used to have a shirt that said that, and I don't know what happened to it. It's gone. It went the same way with the Castlevania shirts that you used to have.
No.
Which said, what a horrible night for a curse, which is pretty cool. The nighttime version, it's Jason, he's blue and purple, so it would be like a nighttime version of the video game thing. And to put that out, I was just like, I'm not even that big a Friday the 13th fan, but I went and got that one just because of the color scheme. It was something different.
Of course.
And then people go, what is that? Does he glow in the dark? No, he doesn't glow in the dark. It's the night, and the box for the packaging for the figure looks like it's from the video game, and like, oh my god, this is amazing. Where did you get this? And then it's a lot of word of mouth for these unique and different slants that they take on these figures there that really drives what NECA does.
Well, because I mean, at some point in time, if you have a dozen Jason figures already, right? You want something a little bit different, something that's going to just engage your interest in it, and so that's a good way to do it.
And the Freddy version, the Freddy video game version, is pretty cool because it's just different shades of orange, like because of the way it was supposed to be. I guess the boiler room scene or something like that in the intro there, where it's light orange, dark orange, and Freddy's skin complexion, but there's no his traditional red and black, sweatshirt, or sometimes he had a little green on him and the hat and everything. It's just modeled after the video game version, and you never see that.
Yeah, you're dead on, especially the Jason. That kind of jump-started like a whole separate category for us. For now, we've done about 15 different figures that are packaged to look like from classic games, the box, everything, the paint deco. Sometimes we're doing like cell shading or little square pixels painted on them and stuff like that. But the Jason was the first one, and it transcended. There were so many people who didn't own any Friday the 13th figures that wanted that figure because either they were like gamers or they remember how crappy that game was, but everyone played it and rented it from Blockbuster or borrowed it from a friend or whatever. But everyone knows you and your friends are dead and the purple colors and all that. And that figure exploded when we brought it out. It was 2 summers ago at San Diego. So we're actually bringing it back for this Christmas. Originally, it was a pretty limited exclusive, but we wanted to protect the value of the old one. So the new one, we made a little bit different, and the deco is pretty much the same. The packaging looks like the game still, but when you open the packaging, it now plays that annoying, incessant theme music. No, not that one. The one from the game.
Oh, okay.
So it's pretty
I don't
sweet.
remember that one.
That comes out later this month, about the third week of November.
The thing with the old that old Friday the 13th game, outside of All Your Friends Are Dead, is that it was left and right scroll, but then you either could go you hit up to go down that path, left or right down those paths. You go 1, 2, okay, I'm almost at the camp. Oh, there's Jason, I'm dead.
No, the game was utter garbage.
Yeah. All those horror movie games were pretty bad.
They also did Karate Kid. It was terrible. Jaws.
The Ghostbusters game was pretty bad.
Almost every licensed movie game was awful.
Ugh.
So, what are some of the other bigger announcements that you've had recently? I don't know why I asked you that, because I'm going to say I saw you teased Bill and Ted. Is that correct?
Yeah, that was about last week as well.
And those are retro style?
Yeah, so they'll have fabric clothing, but sculpted head, hands, guitars.
So is it going to be kind of like the Django?
Kind of like that, and what we've been doing with some of the horror stuff, too. We have some Jasons and Freddys out like that. We just had Home Alone come out this week.
Right.
I wanted to bring a set to you guys first, but I promised Zack Ryder, the pro wrestler.
Sure.
He's like a huge fan. So he got my first set, but I'll have some soon. But yeah, those are hitting stores this week for the 25th anniversary of Home Alone. But yeah, we announced Bill and Ted. It's going to be a Wild Stallions 2-pack.
Oh, that's awesome.
It'll be out in spring.
With guitars?
Yeah, with guitars.
Or are they doing
and
air
a phone
guitar?
booth.
Oh, nice. Phone booth.
So assuming they do well, I mean,
that.
do you have the license to expand to other characters?
Will we see a station?
Or Rufus?
I'd
Rufus
rather
is
see
the one.
Death
Rufus.
or Station. I mean, Death or Rufus. I don't know about Station. That second movie.
Randy just looked at me like, what the fuck's wrong with you? We're trying to get Rufus, and you want Station.
That's
sorry, I panicked.
It's just one action figure you rip in half and then becomes 2.
But
Rufus would be the big one.
Rufus would be amazing.
Yeah. That would be cool. So
or Jim Martin
see.
from like Faith No More guitar lessons.
Is
that what it was?
Or whatever
Yeah.
at the
Faith No More Religious Society, right?
Yeah.
And he's the only guy that didn't come back to Faith No More.
Yeah,
I think.
ironically.
Yeah. But yeah, so we announced those and we showed like the clothing.
and
we showed a little piece of the phone booth the other day. So we're just giving little teasers every week for those loyal that follow us on Twitter, and we'll keep showing little pieces here and there, and probably like by the end of the year we'll show the full thing, and then they'll be for sale in spring.
So you're gonna have like a beard attachment for the second movie for the end, or like the motorized arms just going like this, just
like the Pete Townsend windmill.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. You mentioned Home Alone. Did you see this thing that was happening today?
The Little Nero's Pizza.
Right.
I saw you tweeted something about it, but I didn't actually follow up on it.
Here's what it was. Today and today only. It was in the USA Today that in certain cities or certain areas you could. It was a partnership through Uber. Where you could, they gave you the information, you can contact them and order a pizza. And the guy comes dressed up in the outfit from Home Alone when he delivers the cheese pizza for myself, He's dressed up in the Little Nero's outfit with the hat and everything, and they bring you in the box, Little Nero's box, you can get your own pizza. I put a photo of it up on E-Rock Radio on Instagram there. I'll tweet it out on the show account. But people here got them. And the guy had you could tell he did not want to do this.
Was the pizza decent?
I didn't have any.
Was it like DiGiorno?
I don't know.
Like Tombstone?
But the fact was, these cool little things that if you don't pay enough attention, these weird little things happen. And not everybody needs to be a part of it, or not everybody will give a shit about it. But, if you're working a regular job and these little, niche things pop up in your area, you're like, holy crap, I want to go check that out.
The difference between you and going postal could be little Nero's.
Right, exactly. I mean, sure, it's a $10 pizza for an 8-inch personal pizza, but it was worth the experience. Now everybody who's a fan of Home Alone goes, where did you get that pizza? And you can just go, no.
You can display it next to your leg lamp.
Right. But anyway.
Elf, they just bring you the cup of coffee with the world's greatest coffee cup.
A plate of spaghetti and maple syrup. So Home Alone, Bill and Ted's.
Well, I was going to continue with some of the teases I saw.
Right.
I know the last time you were actually in studio, I think we asked you about Ash and Evil Dead, and at the time, I don't think you knew for sure.
Yeah, we didn't lock it down till San Diego, actually. That was when we were finally able to say, we have it. But prior to that, we were still negotiating, and they were trying to figure out who was going to control the licensing, because there's, Raimi's company and then Stars, and all these people had to get their legal stuff sorted out. But, yeah, we are doing Ash vs. Evil Dead. We've got 2 figures sculpted so far. We teased one of them the other day.
Nice.
Actually, on Halloween night when the show premiered, we showed this new monster that doesn't have a name yet, but you see him in the trailers and some of the coming attractions. And I don't know if he's technically a Deadite. He looks like a mixture of Chatterer and something from Pan's Labyrinth. Is real cool and creepy and pale, and these nasty teeth, and he's kind of pasty white with red forearms and hands, and all bloody and stuff. And we're doing Bruce Campbell a little older and a little fatter.
Sure.
But, still a badass. And we're working on a couple more right now. So
very cool.
Hoping to hit spring on that. We're watching the show just like everyone else.
Sure.
We're seeing it week to week. It's not because we have the license, they didn't hand us the whole season.
Right.
That would make my job a lot easier.
I was just going to say, why, if they wanted to do this partnership, was it a matter of that it takes a long time to get it done? Or why wouldn't they have said, okay, let's get this done and have the release around the time when the show came out?
Yeah, one would think that would make sense.
So it's not your guys'
business. It doesn't make sense. We chased the license for a year. Last summer, 14, when it was announced they're definitely doing it, immediately I contacted someone from Stars and said, we want to do this.
Of course.
And it took literally a year for them to figure out who was actually going to handle and control the licensing. And that got sort of July, and then we started getting reference, I want to say, the second week of August but the reference we get is unit photography. And it's good, don't get me wrong, but some of it could be sets, a table, Ash's car, just whatever, all supporting characters, the director doing his job. It's just stuff that someone's shooting all day. So as far as what I need to do a good job on creating an action figure, it's not always there. So then we got to go after more and make requests.
If you could put the car out and then his trailer.
I want to do the trailer. I've got a plan for the trailer. We'll see if it happens. But I
with the secret gun compartments that he had.
To open up and have the chainsaw on the wall and the nudie books and
You must be excited that it got the second season 2 green light already.
Yeah, I mean that's a great sign.
That means you've got a little more time on it.
Time, and it'll have some legs. I mean, we've always done well with Evil Dead and Army of Darkness, so you can't go wrong.
Ash will always sell. I suspect.
Will always sell.
Yeah,
I think I have 5 versions of Army of Darkness.
I mean, between what Anchor Bay's done and now what Scream Factory's doing, it's do I need this again? Yeah, I guess I keep buying them too. But he's awesome. I think the show was really good, and Bruce is excellent, and I'm totally psyched to see him as Ronald Reagan on Fargo,
right?
Which is totally insane. The show is great as well. So it's fun, and the creatures are awesome. I mean, the first episode alone, there was 5 or 6 creature Deadite type characters already, and
I mean. Well, that first episode definitely took me by surprise because I really didn't know what to expect going into it. I couldn't put my finger on it just based on the trailer. And as I'm watching the first episode, within the first 10 or 15 minutes, you get the sense and you're like, oh no, okay, I'm pretty comfortable where this is going.
Yeah, when I started watching it, I was just like, all right, this is all right. And then there was a couple of jokes where I was just like, oh, that's really campy. And then 4 seconds later, I was like, holy shit, this is terrifying now. It's just it goes through so many different phases.
Yeah, I mean, that scene with the 2 police officers.
That was awesome.
And that was classic, Evil Dead Raimi. And it was scary. And you just go backwards and that noise, that guttural sound, that was missing from Army of Darkness.
Yeah, and even that white thing in the chair with the light just kind of going over him slow is perfect. Well, so Sam Raimi.
You kind of forget how scary the Deadites actually are because they became so campy in Army of Darkness. And that's not to knock Army of Darkness.
Right.
I love Army of Darkness, but they're so campy. right? I mean, even She Bitch and the Pit Demon, they're really campy. Mm-hmm. They're just not as scary as they were
the mini Ashes.
Yeah, the mini Ashes.
Right.
I mean, so
yep. I mean, awesome. It has some of that because he fought that little doll,
the little
funny thing,
like Tina or whatever that little doll thing was. But I mean, it's got a mix of all of it, and I think to have that on TV and have something to look forward to on Saturday nights, since
absolutely.
I never go out anymore. It's cool. It's real cool.
We got to talk to everybody for Ash vs. Evil Dead at New York Comic Con. It debuted on Stars on Halloween. It's every Saturday night, so you should definitely set your DVR to watch that. Would you be open to an Ash variant of him dressed in like his Best Buy uniform?
Yeah,
he's working in that
that's
store?
One of the things we're working on right now.
Oh, great. Smart.
It could go to retail, or they're already talking about like the Blu-ray bundle.
Right.
Once the season's done for, next spring or summer, and it could end up in there, like value. It's not F-Smart anymore.
It's like Value Smart or something like that.
Something like Value Smart or Value Mart. So, with that red smock and the pocket protector and the Ash stock boy, the whole deal. We're actually doing that right now in the studio. So, we'll see. I think there's going to be a lot. I'm psyched to see what happens week to week,
I think that's my favorite part of it. Like how you see him at the store, you're like, oh, he's like a manager now. It's like, nope, he's still a stock boy. He's still a stock boy.
Same schlep that he was last time.
Yeah. What else do we have here?
What else? We had a couple other licensing announcements with, since you had the video games discussion before, we're doing some stuff with Sony, Sony Consumer Products. On the video game side, we're doing Uncharted 4.
Nice.
Which hits in March.
Nice.
And that's the first time anyone's done, an action figure of Nathan Drake from Uncharted. And then we're also doing a God of War Kratos, kind of like a definitive ultimate God of War Kratos, which will be out beginning of next year.
Cool.
So, I mean, that stuff's really good. And then Hateful Eight is one we talked about a little bit last time.
This will be good with Tarantino in the news.
Yeah, any threats from the police union about these toys?
We haven't yet, but we've been through the fire before with Django, so controversy always seems to follow.
Yeah,
like the heck with that Tarantino guy. I'm not doing any more toys for this guy.
Yeah, he makes great movies, so what are you gonna do?
Well, now this time the white people are mad.
Yeah, a lot of them apparently. So yeah, we have a teaser image out of the 8 characters, and at this point we've kind of handed everything over to the marketing team of the Weinstein Company, and we'll see when they do the full reveal. But we plan to have those out right around the time it goes wide. I think it opens Christmas Day in limited release, and then in January it goes wider, and we will have a collection of 8 Hateful Eight figures out for the new year.
Very cool.
Did you get to see that first?
I have not seen anything about the trailers. I did get the script for that one, though, which made it easier than, say, Ash, because I'm just looking at pictures. But it's always the challenge. Like when we do the old stuff, you know it inside and out. You can eat, breathe, and sleep Predator and Alien and all those movies. Yeah. I've watched them for 20, 30 years. But doing the new stuff, you're always chasing reference, chasing approvals, guessing at what's going to resonate or be cool in the movie. We didn't do the product, but if you look back at Guardians of the Galaxy, by far the runaway item was Baby Groot.
Right.
They kept that thing hidden from everyone until the movie came out. And like when that movie came out, that end credit sequence, everyone wanted something with Baby Groot.
The dancing Groot, yeah.
And they couldn't get that out fast enough, and they all rushed it to the shelves in time for Christmas last year. But it's like, you never know sometimes when you're doing a new IP, what's going to be, the home run.
Well, you're saying, with the Predator line and the Aliens line. The Alien line, I've seen back at in the stores again right now. The Red Queen.
Yeah.
Awesome looking.
Yeah, that thing is sick from the old Dark Horse comic.
It's almost metallic looking. Like you want to sit there and it's like you could bang that thing on the table like this thing ain't breaking.
Yeah, that is big. It is one big bitch, the Genocide Queen. But,
right.
Yeah, well, I mean we're doing great with Alien, and it goes even bigger. Next year is the 30th anniversary of Aliens, the 86 Cameron movie.
Hells yeah.
So there's a lot. First, that's just an amazing film, and now we have Sigourney on board, so we're doing Ripley figures, which is awesome. We have the Power Loader out there. We lined up a bunch of other stuff, some actors that we previously didn't have rights for, some products that we hadn't done before, some really special items for the 30th anniversary, and I know there's going to be a lot of, other merchandise coming from other partners, and Fox has a whole marketing plan around it, and you'll start to see that probably sometime in April. So if you're an Alien fan, it's really cool, and we have some great Alien stuff out now, like the Red Queen and some eggs I brought down for you to give away. These things are amazing.
Dude, this is awesome.
They're actually packaged like the kind of eggs you buy from a dairy, cage-free eggs straight from LV426.
That's awesome.
So we make it look like it's from the Wayland-Yutani dairy, and when you open those suckers up, there's eggs and face huggers, and it's just a really fun, cool product.
Don't forget to get the expiration date on the side, Eric.
Yes. Yeah, all that goofy stuff.
Yeah.
I wrote all of it. That's what I do for a living. There's some funny warnings.
Facts?
Yeah, inside when you lift it up, and tells you like do not look directly in. It says like to avoid impregnation. Also,
keep away from face.
Yeah, so it's really a cool, fun item that I think goes beyond your traditional action figure buyer, too. People buy it as a gag, or they'll just buy it to stick it in their fridge and mess with the housemate or roommate or something like that. They're just cool.
So, awesome. I'm sorry, is this out now, or is
this is out right now?
This is out now. How much does this run?
That runs about $20 to $22,
that's so
depending on where. So you got 3 open eggs, 3 closed eggs, and face huggers. It's a half dozen alien eggs.
Yeah, you get pictures of
Oh, they're nice, too.
Yeah, they got some weight to them. They're all slimy.
Yeah.
The face huggers are posable. They have bendable tails and stuff. So it's fun. You know, it's a cool thing. And if you have the action figures, they're totally to scale. So it's good for your dioramas and your displays. And
are they spring loaded?
They are not spring loaded.
Damn it.
Discard broken, cracked, or open eggs and run far, far away.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Thank you.
You guys keep finding new and better ways just to put out, not like just keep putting out the same thing. Like sometimes maybe I won't mention a toy line, but there's some toy lines that Matt taught me the term the kitchen sink.
Yeah, well,
where it just keeps going on. It's traditional. It's like, oh, now he's blue, so that's a water suit. Here's the red for the fire suit.
Right.
You guys keep finding new and original stuff to do with a franchise that, Aliens has an extensive history, but sometimes you get like Jason and Freddy where there's too much campiness and you don't know which direction to go, but you guys narrow down exactly what you think people would like. And that's the best part, I guess, about his job is that, well, what would I like? You get to sit there and go, I would like to see this, and if you like to see it, chances are pretty much everybody else wants to see that too.
Right.
So you guys take a really different approach with everything.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, most of us there are fans ourselves and have always been collecting and buying this stuff just like everyone else. And we all geek out about the same things. And we were all, watching the new foreign Star Wars trailer this morning with, tears in their eyes and all that kind of stuff. So the same stuff that excites, our customer excites us. So when we're able to come up with an idea that's cool or that we think will really resonate or connect with the fans, we know pretty well, and we communicate with the fans. I know Matt
sure do.
Matt said before that I guess you guys were talking about my Twitter.
Did you hear us on the way in?
I did actually. I was listening to Judas Priest on the way in, trying to cope with New York traffic and get ready to see Judas Priest tomorrow night. So
very nice.
But he was telling me about it, which I'm pretty active on there and try to keep them at bay. There's a pretty rabid fan base.
Well, I mean, look, to a certain degree, you've got to feel flattered, right? Because these are people who are coming to you with things that they obviously cherish or hold dear, and they're asking you to do something with it because they trust you to do something right with it. And then, of course, you have to be in the unfortunate position of saying, oh, no, that one's not going to happen.
Right. Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, we're in the unique position that no one else from the manufacturing side has the level of interaction or communication that we do or that I do with the fans. And then 2, it's unique in that it's not ever corporate or canned responses. Like, I'm short and succinct, and I kind of tell it like it is. And regardless if we do like Friday the 13th or Nightmare on Elm Street or any of these things, if I think the movie's a crap movie, I'm going to say like, hey, it's a crap movie. Maybe if it's something new that's out, I can't do that for a while and I just won't say anything. But when we go through like the history of like the Halloween movies or the Elm Street movies or any of those, I'll say the ones that I like and the ones that I don't. Same thing with Terminator, Alien, Predator. Sure. So there's an authenticity, or I'm genuine with them. I'm not just like, oh, cheerleader, everything's great. I think AVP sucks. I'll be the first to say. I love Ridley Scott, and I love James Cameron, the first 2 movies.
I don't think you're being open-minded about it.
I'm definitely not.
They had a baby at the end.
I'm not a fan. And same with the Predator sequels, too. I love the first one, 87, with Carl Weathers and Arnold and Jesse and all that. I don't like any of the sequels. I'm hoping that they do something good. They're working on new movies for both of them now. So, as a fan, I'm excited to see what happens. And then as a toy maker, I'm like, I hope there's some cool stuff to make toys from,
Where are you with Prometheus?
I was very excited, campaigned for the license, worked with, Scott Free, his production company and everything like that. Was very on board with the initial script that I read. Unfortunately, late in the game, he brought someone else in to, rewrite it, and it really went south from there. I encourage anyone to read the first script and see how much better it could have been. I really didn't like it. It's shot well, and Fassbender is great as always, and Charlize is always easy on the eye, so no complaints there, but the movie was kind of a mess, and really didn't feel like it was connected to the Alien universe at all.
And that's why Prometheus 2 is now Alien 5, right?
Yeah, Paradise Lost. Or every day it's got a different name or subtitle or something.
Because they kind of had like the xenomorph thing at the end of Prometheus, like whatever that was, but you're like, all right.
It felt kind of forced, and nothing else felt like that.
Yeah, because I went into it and I was like, okay, well, this will be like, a movie, but then I was like, oh, this is like part one in a Lord of the Rings that shouldn't have been made kind of thing. That's how it felt. I was like, oh no.
Yeah, I'm very intrigued with what Neil Blomkamp may do, and that's on and off all the time, so who knows. But his designs and the idea of bringing back Michael Biehn and Sigourney Weaver and kind of discounting those other 3, 4, like just let's pretend those didn't happen. I'm all about that. I think that's the best thing they could do, so hopefully that's what happens.
His art designs were awesome.
Yeah, his stuff's fantastic. So I hope he gets to make that movie, and that he does not bring in any of the people from Chappie into that movie.
But you want Diane Ward in there?
Please. Why? I was on board with his first 2 movies. I thought, hey, this guy's pretty cool, and the designs are great. The robotic police, all that stuff was cool. And when Chappie started, they had Peter Weller's voice, which instantly I was hooked. It's like, this is awesome. RoboCop, security police, and then... Yeah.
Took a bad turn.
Real bad.
You want to take some calls?
Sure.
Shane in Boston wants to talk to Randy. Shane, what's up? Shane?
I think he's a big Chappie fan.
He's gone.
He was a big Chappie fan.
Never mind. Do you want to talk Star Wars a little bit?
I always want to talk Star Wars.
Do you have any other? Do you have any other product that you want to throw out there
for the holiday season? We covered the big heavy hitters, and you can always hit our website neconline.com or check us out on Twitter.
And everything you brought in, I took photos. It's up on it's Erik Nagel on Twitter.
Yeah,
so you can
keep
check it out.
Give it away, whatever. If you want some Home Alone stuff, we'll have it in later this week, so I'll send you some of that too. And we're doing an appearance soon. Actually, I should give a shout out to our friends from the New Jersey Comic Expo. They're doing a show down in Edison, New Jersey, 2 weekends from now. So it'll be November 21st and 22nd. It's certainly smaller and more low key than a San Diego or a New York Comic Con. So bring the kids. There's cosplay. There's cool movie and TV cars like the DeLorean, the Ecto-1, Kit from Knight Rider.
Oh, nice.
So that stuff's pretty cool, and we'll be there. Showing off all the products we have coming out through the end of the year. We're going to do a little programming panel talking about some of 2016, and we're going to bring some items to some warehouse finds and some past exclusives and rarities and stuff like that to sell. So it'll be cool. So come out, meet the team, find out how we make toys, and just have a good time. Bring the wife, the kids, whatever. It should be cool.
Yeah, that's going to be a good show overall. They have some good guests lined up, some good comic book art. Jim Lee is going to be there. I just saw they announced.
Garth Ennis. Garth Ennis. Preacher's about to happen next year, and I mean, you couldn't touch these people in San Diego or New York. The lines would be hours long.
Yep.
Yeah, Chris Claremont, I believe, too. So, I mean, major, like, AAA talent from the comic world that you'll have access to at the show.
I love these shows. I talk about them a lot on Geek Stuff. I love these shoys. We call them the church basement shows because that's what they used to do. Church basement shows.
In
the city, right?
Yep.
But they're great. I mean,
was that like the Geek Flea thing like that I came to, like similar?
Well, I mean, Geek Flea in scale. Well, the old church basement show in New York City was exactly like Geek Flea, except that they had like a lot of professional artists there and vendors and stuff like that. It's not like the flea market type things, but the smaller shows are nice. Like you can actually walk around, you can enjoy yourself. When they have nice guests, you can actually interact with them. Like I went to one earlier this year, another one in New Jersey, and the last remaining Hildebrandt was there.
Great guys. West Orange guys.
Yeah, and they, painting and hanging out with, and those are guys that are like legends. You know?
Original Star Wars one sheet, and Lord of the Rings, fantasy art, and just super like down to earth, super amazing. I think at this point they're just happy that people remember them, but they don't realize how much like impact they had on our childhood.
Absolutely. So these shows are great. New Jersey Comic Expo definitely is shaping up to be a pretty cool show. So
it's the first time they're doing it, but hopefully first of many. So we definitely want to support those guys. So check that out.
Absolutely.
So let's move on to Star Wars. Here.
Okay.
What do you want to talk about?
I wanted to talk about you have it up on the screen.
Right.
But I guess I don't even know what show it was on. It was some Fox News segment where they were talking about the ticket sales. They were disingenuinely talking about the ticket sales for Episode 7.
They were just kind of like, what's the big deal with Star Wars?
And that's on Your World with Neil Cavuto. He's the guy that runs Fox Business.
Oh, okay. Well, Neil Cavuto and whatever the girl's name was.
Carly
Shimkus. Yeah. Bunch of rubes. You know what? My biggest problem, first of all, it's 4-minute clip, and it's mind-boggling, but it's disingenuous, I think, is the biggest problem. Like, I don't care if you don't like Star Wars. I get it. It's not for everybody. But you can't be like, I just don't understand why people like, why is this movie selling so big? Really?
Look, Star Wars is the exception to a lot of nerdy and geeky things where it was at the time, and that's who it was for, but it's become such a world event that it's not even transcendent. It's not even for the nerds and geeks anymore. It's for everybody to like.
Again, you don't have to be a fan. You could be like, I fucking hate Star Wars, but no shit, it's going to sell out. No shit, the trailer is going to be a big deal, and ticket sales are going to be a big deal. It's going to be the #1 box office until Episode 8 comes out. So
pretty much.
I mean, I don't know that you watched this segment too, right?
I feel like it just goes to the bigger part of the news now, where it's just hating things for the sake of hating things because it gets hits and views, and I think that's what it just comes down to. It's just
the titles are clickbait,
and it was also.
But this wasn't even clickbait though; they were annoying.
It really was a little bit derogatory too.
It was.
I felt very. It was very stereotypical talk.
It felt like it was 20 years ago when people were talking about Star Wars. Like, you nerd.
All right, you want to listen to it a little bit?
Yeah, sure.
It's going to be like Porky's or something. Sounds great.
All right, Star Wars, the movie you might have heard, is coming out in a couple of months. They showed this at a halftime of Monday Night Football.
I don't know why this is so low.
Already, advanced ticket sales
No one should hear
based
it.
on that alone mean this will be the biggest weekend blockbuster in motion picture history. And I'm saying to myself, why? But again, I'm not really into this whole thing, especially when I found out that Fox has nothing to do with it. Mike Gunzelman, he loves the Star Wars films. Carly Shimkus, not so much. Carly, you're not a big fan with that.
Well, not only is it overrated, in my opinion, it's also oversaturated. From Halloween...
All right, hold on a second. I agree with that. It is very much oversaturated.
But it's been oversaturated for 30 years. Like, it's nothing new. Star Wars has never gone away.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Really, has it ever gone away?
There was like a brief hiatus, late 80s into early 90s.
Yeah, but even that was like, it was a downplay. It's never fully, I feel like it's never fully gone away. There's always been ridiculous amounts of Star Wars product.
Mm-hmm.
And as, at minimum, at least since the 90s, right? Since the re-releases and stuff like that.
Like the special editions and all that. Like, let's say like 96, 97, something like that. 20 years on, it's been pretty consistent for sure.
So I don't know. It just seems like
I saw
she's
Darth
too
Vader
cool
soup
for the room.
other day.
That's what I get.
Yeah.
Look, and they were the coffee creamers, and there's the cereal. I'm wearing my Darth Vader socks right
There's
now.
the lightsaber pregnancy test I saw. I made that
cover
up.
girl makeup or whatever. And I saw
the lightsaber barbecue tongs.
Yeah.
I saw an R2D2 dehumidifier the other day, and I was like, man, I wish we needed one in the kids' room.
Right. You want an excuse to buy it. And doesn't it just seem though like I kind of feel like I'm sitting at the nerd table in the cafeteria watching the cool kids make fun of me.
I can't believe they like that. Look at those losers over there. They like that. Yeah. But it's like, no, like what?
Geek culture has become so mainstream. Like how many comic book movies there are.
Exactly.
How many issues of, say, something like Entertainment Weekly in a year are devoted to something that's either a comic book or a sci-fi or all the genre shows that are on TV, like A Walking Dead or, Ash vs. Evil Dead,
right.
Soon Preacher. I mean, all this comes from, what used to be our little world that, supposedly we were shunned for, and now it's like totally mainstream. And shows that aren't funny but are popular, like Big Bang Theory. I mean, it's, what I mean? It's the stuff is everywhere.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's what I mean. She's sitting there and she's saying all these things, and
Well, no, it's like she's like right out of the gate.
Though.
She's like right out of the gate. Like, I don't like you.
She's just saying it because she feels like that's what she should be saying. Right. That's the part that bothers me, because at that point, why even bother with the segment? Like, the entire purpose of the segment is to what? Belittle something that you claim you don't understand, but it's a no shit Sherlock scenario. Yeah. Like, of course, it's huge.
I wouldn't put it past Fox News to belittle something they don't understand.
I know. Look, I know that it's Fox, and you have to take it with a grain of salt and all that other.
And by the way,
blah, blah, blah.
One of the many pretty blondes that they have as pundits and correspondents on Fox.
I'm not gonna.
You can see on a daily basis at the Wendy's below the building.
Sure.
Every day this week.
Who?
All those blonde girls?
Oh, yeah?
They're always down at Wendy's.
Where is this, Eric? Which street?
It's the one right below the Fox building underground.
Okay.
They're always
it's like
there.
On the corner over here.
Oh, Lewis.
Always there. Let's hear a little more.
Costumes to it being on Monday Night Football. Everywhere you turn, it's all Star Wars.
They're
because
overdoing
of
it. You're
fleets
right.
like Guns who will go on to Fandango and buy it 2 months in advance, and then it will ruin everybody else, the experience for people like you and me who are normal movie watchers.
We're in no rush to be the first to see it.
No.
How far in advance do people buy Super Bowl tickets when they go on sale? Or their favorite concert when they go on sale?
But not only that, just like her argument there is like, I don't want people to see it, and then they talk about it and spoil it for me when she already said she doesn't like the movies.
The whole segment is just aggravating.
Right.
Like,
we don't need to go any further
up
with it. But
listening to it again.
Yeah, but you know what? She comes off too as the pretty popular party girl who's
Too
like,
cool
oh
for
my
the room.
God, why do these people like this stuff? Isn't this kid stuff? Bitch, your company made this movie.
Yeah, that's the funniest thing is like Fox has a long-standing history with Star Wars.
That's why I was confused. Like, Fox, it's got nothing to do with
Well,
that.
that's why he said. I think that's why he said that line, because 20th Century Fox. I don't know if they have distribution with it. I don't think so anymore. Now that Disney has it,
I don't think they have anything.
But then he's like, especially when I found out Fox had nothing to do with it, I thought that was just his attempt at a jab at the fact that everything was sold off to Disney.
The House of Mouse owns all.
I'm thinking of Neil Cavuto too, and this he's like, I still don't get this. Like it's just both of them. I don't know. It's really stupid.
Yeah,
I don't get the point of it.
But look, I agree it's oversaturated, but it transcends nerd culture, geek culture. It's everybody loves Star Wars. I'm sure if you talk to enough people, politicians love it, athletes love it, rock stars love it, everybody loves it. It's not just like a little niche thing that some people like, I've never even heard before, or who gives a shit about that. That's what Star Trek has become.
Sure.
Star Trek was way ahead of Star Wars at one point, and they were going to be the big mainstream thing. Star Wars blew it right out of the water with the merchandising, with new movies, with everything else going on. It's just the franchise that will not go away no matter what you do with it.
No.
People aren't forgetting about it.
If Jar Jar didn't kill it.
Lucas didn't kill it before, and it's really been on such an upswing with what, JJ's been showing and doing that, if it's as good as it looks, and God bless, every single frame has looked amazing so far, then it's just going to go,
And look, Rebels is really good too. I mean, the franchise I feel is in good hands right now, and so it's not going away.
Yeah,
so Carly Shimkiss or whatever her name is.
I mean, they could have just released that screenshot reel that they had of just the focusing in on the corridors of the sets, and I would have been like, all right, I can't wait to see this movie.
Because there's actual sets.
Yeah, the actual sets.
Right, exactly.
We see the big green guy sitting there, whoever he's going to be. I was
practical
like,
effects.
Crazy. Yeah,
imagine that. And guys in armor, not CG clones.
And blowing shit up and making real robots. Fuck yeah. How you should do it.
Yep. It's pretty simple stuff, but finally someone figured it out.
Thank God.
I cannot wait.
Thank God. I'm excited. I can't wait either.
Maybe they're just coming off as like a jealous ex-girlfriend because they left for somebody better.
That's it. She had a boyfriend that left her for Boba Fett.
Right. All right. So we're going to have to take a break here. Randy, thank you so much. NECAonline.com is the website to check out the toys that he talked about, and their vast archive of other cool stuff there. NECA_toys on Twitter and Instagram.
Yep.
And choose your questions wisely when you're writing to Randy, because we had said earlier there's times when you're like, can you make any more of this figure? And you're like, that's not ours, Or he's like, what, do you ever think about doing this? And he's right, nope. Yep, that's it.
It's so good.
He's right to the point, but definitely a good follow. Randy, you're welcome to hang around if you want, whatever you want to do. We're going to take a break. When we come back, Jenny and Sarah are back from Project You Are Okay, and we will talk to them. Be right there.
It's Erik Nagel. Erik Nagel.
It's Erik Nagel, 866-969-1969 is the phone number. Give us a call. We'll talk. We'll chat. No big whoop. I think someone said that before, but if not, I'm going to coin that.
Maybe someone somewhere along the lines.
I think it was Saturday Night Live. Of course it was Saturday Night Live.
Isn't everything Saturday Night Live?
Right. Matt O.G. and Giddles is here. Randy from NECA Toys. We always love having Randy in. And the lovely ladies of Project You Are Okay are back. Hello.
Hello.
Jenny and Sarah, how are you?
Hello.
How's everything?
It's good. We got some mead now.
Yes.
We've got mead.
Last time you were on the show, which was a couple of weeks ago, Matt promised you some kind of mead.
Well, we were talking about mead, which is...
Stop saying mead.
A thing that still exists.
It is a thing that still exists.
It sounds to me like something the Vikings drank.
Because it was.
It was?
Well, it was, yeah. I mean, it was it was easy to ferment honey. It was readily available.
Yeah.
So it's actually, I think, one of the earliest fermented drinks was mead.
It's funny because it tastes like something that I would have liked in college. So it's not like the Viking-y, like we drank this fermented tree.
This was early Jägermeister.
Yeah.
I don't feel like it's going to put hair on my chest though. Like I think I'm good. It's like very pleasant to drink.
And there's I
opened it up. I didn't even realize. I thought you were going to save it to take it home. You just dove right in.
Well, I thought we were all drinking.
Yeah,
that's fine with
sharing
me.
is caring. It is definitely a bit sweet, but this place has like 10 or 11 different kinds that they make.
What are the other? So you said there was a ghost pepper.
I don't have the ghost pepper here, but they have a ghost pepper one. They have a coffee one.
Ooh.
They have one that is actually mixed with red grapes. So it's almost like a blush, but it's not like a Boone's Farm.
That sounds really good.
It's really good. Yeah. If you're in New Jersey, check them out. They're pretty cool place. Mellow Vino, they're called.
Well, this is very wine-like. It's just like a honey wine almost. It's really good.
Yeah, it's like a white wine. Mm-hmm. I mean, it goes really well with fish, and
it's like if you poured honey into a glass of white wine.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Look how upscale this show has become.
No,
we had fine Italian sandwiches, and now we're enjoying some nice mead.
So there you go.
There you go.
Enjoy it. It's tasty.
So, I never got to the Geek Squad story, but we'll get to it. We'll get to that. Project You Are Okay is a organization that helps people out, young people, teenagers even, stuff like that, with dealing with or trying to accept the fact that they may have some kind of mental illness.
Right.
And emotional issues and whatnot. And it's sort of a safe haven for people to come and realize that there are other like-minded people who have the same issues as you and how they're coping with it. And it's not just, anonymous people. People put videos up there on their site so you can hear their stories and see if this might relate to me, or maybe I have something that other people don't. You do your own video and you put it up, but also celebrities take part in this as well.
Yeah.
Who were some of the names again?
Our most popular video talking about Comic-Con and stuff was Will Wheaton's video, which was how we got invited to Comic-Con in the first place, and went to San Diego and New York, and that was awesome. That was so nice of him.
Yeah, and he also talked about it at a panel that he did at Comic-Con. He talked about how he was feeling really anxious about Comic-Con, which I totally understand. It's super intimidating and scary. Oh, it's right there.
And Mara's video, Mara Wilson, who's on the left. So those are like some of our most viewed videos. We're right now in the middle of doing something called My Hunger Games with an organization called the Harry Potter Alliance. And basically, so every, I guess not every year, but every time there's a Hunger Games movie, the Harry Potter Alliance does this campaign called My Hunger Games. And the idea is to draw parallels between sort of the poverty represented in the fictional world of the Hunger Games and poverty facing real people in the U.S. today. So, and this year, and every year it's like about a specific aspect of poverty. And this year it was about mental health care below the poverty line, and how when you're living below the poverty line, a lot of times you need more mental health care because it can be very traumatic living in poverty, and that care really isn't there. So we have a lot of videos of people who have dealt with mental illness below the poverty line, people who are experts on providing emergency care to people below the poverty line. And it's just a really interesting series. We cried making them a lot.
A lot, yeah. And it's funny, I'm not a big crier, and I teared up at every single one. And the one we have now that we just put up is from a friend of mine who does intake at he does psychiatric intake at an emergency room in New Jersey, and so he had a lot of amazing insight. Yeah, it's just super sad. I don't know. A big part of what we do is trying to bring humor to the situation, and
we do fun stuff. This happens to be a very serious topic that needs to be addressed seriously.
Yeah.
Last time you guys were here, we got to hear a lot of Jenny's history with the organization and what she's been doing. We ran out of time before getting a chance to talk to Sarah, and Sarah's here, and Sarah's been another big part of this thing. Do you want to share some of your stories with us?
I feel like it's actually good because Jenny, founded the organization, and it was definitely her baby and her brainchild, and then I came on second, so I'm sort of it's good.
But if I could jump in real quick, you made it happen because Sarah is a lot more practically minded than I am in a lot of ways.
It's true. I feel like we've made a good pair. I was just talking about this with somebody, how I don't know, there's so many times where Jenny has been in building the organization, because we really, we created it, and now we're only just now are we really starting to run an organization. We've been building one, and there have been so many times where she would just be like, no, let's just do it. Let's just leap. We're just going to do it, and everything will work out. And I'm always like, no, it won't. It won't work out. How will it work out? But then it does, and I think we're a really good team because she'll kind of push me.
We got a Kirk and Spock thing going on, down to the red and blue. Yes. Well, not red. Sorry. I'm not wearing yellow, but kind of.
Yeah.
You guys get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
I feel you. I'm there.
Yeah. So I came on, just to produce some videos, and then I was at a place where I'd been modeling. So I used to work as a plus size model. I got my start on America's Next Top Model, and I had been doing that for a while, but wanted to.
What season were you on?
9.
Okay.
So it was, I don't like to brag, but I think it was the best. But it was
also a really good season.
It was, I was on 9. There have been, I think, 2,400 now? 2,600? I don't know. A million? Infinite, infinite cycles. No, there's so many. But I was on, it was about, I guess, 8 years ago now. Which is a long time, and that's depressing to think about too much. 8 years is so long when you're a model.
That's what we're here
Yep. And I know, but I was sort of looking to find the next step, because I was ready to be done with modeling, which people do not like to hear. When people they're like, you're going to stop modeling on purpose? I was like, yes, I don't want to do it anymore. And so that just worked out. So I started doing this, and it was great. And I was diagnosed with PTSD, which I think is my mental health connection to it. And I made a video, and it was great. It was super scary, and it was really fun to sort of be in, I'd been making all these videos with all these people and encouraging and trying to get people to make videos. And so doing it myself was good because, I was putting my money where my mouth was. And it's scary. It's hard to start the conversation with people, to say, I have this diagnosis. This is a thing that I'm dealing with, because you don't know how people are going to react, and you don't know if they're going to feel bad for you, or if it's going to change how they look at you. But then once you start the conversation, it just gets so much easier. It's like going to the gym, it just seems impossible until you do it. And then once you're there, you can kind of see the benefits, and you can see the good that it's doing. So it's been really cool.
I totally missed out on the gym to be here, though.
Yeah, that's true. She did. She skipped the gym to talk about mental health. So. You can't.
Work comes first.
Yeah.
I know. I was like, oh, darn.
Gotta go drink mead instead. Oh.
So you said you were diagnosed. Did you know where it stemmed from, the origin of it?
Sort of. I had been diagnosed with a bunch of things beforehand. Erroneously. I had been diagnosed with OCD, and then before that I was diagnosed with compulsive tendencies, and it turns out that they're all trauma related. And it's funny because I don't remember a lot of what happened, to me, and it's always the first thing that people want to ask. They don't always ask, but they always want to know, like, well, what happened? Like, what was it? And I'm like,
so you're
sorry.
like missing chunks of
Huge
time
chunks
of your life?
Time. Yeah, big years. I wasn't like, happen? I know, like, it's one of those, I know I wasn't like kidnapped, I wasn't like, but, there's just a lot of things that I don't remember, or that I intellectually know happened, but have no actual memory of, like, it's like, when people,
hearsay?
Yeah. Or even like, there's things that people tell you, like when, before you were 3 that, happened, and you sort of are like, okay, that sounds right, but you don't have any like
proof
connection to it. And so there's a lot of that. And it's one of those things started coming back to me a couple years ago. And I luckily had already been in therapy for a long time. So I knew that the answer was to, go see a professional and talk about it and be like, these are things that are coming, like, sort of flashes, like flashbacks, like, it's a lot like if you black out drunk, like when you're like, oh no, did I? Yep. It's a lot like that where like it's like a new memory. So it's been a process, and it's been, I think, really fortuitous, because I've had a lot of really, I think, what could be troubling and hard discoveries, but I've been in this amazing supportive environment, and I've been doing all this work that has really just hammered home that, like, it's okay. Like, it's not the end of the world. It doesn't define me, and it doesn't have to mean a lot of what.
It isn't your fault.
It isn't my fault, right? I think that's because I tend to blame myself for everything, just as a rule. Like, I apologize to mannequins. Is it because it's easy? I bump into them.
Is it because it's easy to blame yourself for a lot of stuff because you don't know? It's just easier to say, all right, then it must be my fault.
I think also that I think it's easy. It's also pretty societal. We have a tendency to blame victims a lot in a lot of like subtle ways, like even just asking what people were wearing, talking about what girls look like. I blossomed really young. I got boobs when I was 11. They were huge, and they were so big, and they came so fast that I literally ran into things. I was like a Great Dane puppy, just like like, and I would just be like, what is going on? For years I was just so awkward, and so like, in my head, a lot of like really negative experiences that I had from male attention were because of that. I was like, well, I looked so old when I was so young, but the fact is I was still 11. I was still a kid. 11. And a lot, like, even if they didn't know I was 11, I still looked real young, like, right. I still look like a Great Dane puppy, like that's still, it's also just still like, it's never a kid's responsibility to police the actions of adults. It is always, right? Like that, like, the video of the girl who just got attacked in that classroom, like it is never a kid's job to say that they don't deserve to be beat or hurt or damaged or, that's never their responsibility.
Well, that situation's a little,
I mean, that's there's a
lot of gray area.
Yeah, it's a whole other thing. But like, yeah, I think we do a lot of times, like we look at these underage girls and we ask, what were they wearing? What were they doing? Did they, that doesn't matter. It's still not their job.
Right.
To, protect grown men or whoever. Right. And also, like when a woman has sex with an underage boy, we always are like, oh my God, that's so awesome. Like, that's so lucky. Like, it's so cool that happened. And then years later, a lot, like, a huge percentage of those boys go on to become men who have really confusing relationships to sex because they were supposed to feel lucky that they got molested. We have a weird relationship to it.
It is a double standard as far as that goes.
Totally.
Yeah.
But you never hear that story, what you said, when guys get older and have that situation that they're kind of fucked up, even when they're reaching like middle age, in
like,
the 30s
have a hard
and
time
stuff.
like talking, like even if they were like, this really was a bad thing that happened to me. This is a really traumatic situation. Like, you can't talk about it because everybody's gonna, everybody's gonna be like, well, it
ends up becoming the plot to SVU every week instead of it actually talked about.
Totally.
scenario.
They covered it on TV.
Yeah.
We don't need to talk to our kid about it.
So a lot of the people who reach out or who find some sort of comfort or direction through the project and through what you do, they're not diagnosed yet, right? They're kind of learning what's going on with them.
Well, a lot of the people who make videos are people that we reached out to who are like comedians who we know like who talk openly on stage about, something, which is a lot of comedians. But for people, like for teenagers who are maybe wanting to make a video or coming to the site, one of the things we keep getting from them is like, well, I want to make a video, but like, I haven't gotten over this thing yet. And I'm like, you don't need to. This stuff is ongoing. There's going to be stuff happening throughout your life. You're never going to get to a place where you're like, I'm just happy all the time. And that's part of the big message. I think that trying to tell people like there's light at the end of the tunnel and that will be it is totally irresponsible.
Sure.
So I think that for a lot of the people who come to the site, it's like, I'm still going through things. And that's cool. Like, that we still want to hear your story because a lot of these kids who are reaching out are not being heard at home or in their communities or in their schools, and they're really drowning. And we're like, well, you know what? Your story is valuable. We want to hear it.
So do you hear then... do you hear a lot of stories of misdiagnosis then? So you have obviously undiagnosed stuff, right? But do you hear a lot of, because you said you were misdiagnosed several times, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, do you hear a lot of that? Because I think that speaks really to the bigger problem, or a bigger problem is that healthcare and mental health care in the country probably has a lot more work to do.
There's a lot of work to be done. But I mean, as someone who was misdiagnosed for a long time, like the things that I learned and the coping mechanisms that were taught to me when we thought it was OCD, they're still really helpful.
Sure.
It's always, I do have ADHD, and it is often hard to tell, like, is it an ADHD thing or is it a PTSD thing? There's a lot of overlap in symptoms, but that doesn't mean that, like, it's not still helpful for me to count all of my belongings before I leave the house because, like, I don't want to forget anything. Like, that's just practically helpful. So I think, like, I like to think that, if somebody did make a video for a diagnosis that later got changed, the advice and the story and the truth at that time, that's not going to change, and it's not going to be something they regret.
Again.
Well, I think one of the things about like the healthcare system is like one of the problems and like one of the reasons that happens, and one of the reasons we talk about it a lot in kids getting overdiagnosed with stuff is because we don't have any ongoing like check-ins or anything. It's like you go to a doctor once, maybe that's all you can afford, maybe that's all your insurance will cover. They'll prescribe you with something and sort of call it a day. And sometimes really maybe like you need an ongoing thing, or you need to talk to somebody, or you just need, maybe this is something that's only happening in this moment and people are, overreacting. But I think that one of the really key things that we need is sort of like accessible, ongoing mental health care, because we have emergency services, but they're really subpar and there are not that many of them. And we don't have a lot of, resources for people who aren't like ridiculously privileged to be able to go to any sort of ongoing therapy.
It's not something that's covered under like most people's traditional medical plans,
which is absurd.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make any sense from any standpoint, because even if you don't, it drives me crazy the amount of taxpayer money that gets wasted when people are forced to use the emergency room as their doctor's office.
Sure.
And it not only costs money and wastes money, taxpayer money, it also means that's why emergency room waits are so long. Like, because that is the bottom of the net, and people are just trying so hard not to fall through the cracks. And that's it. And so that's where, and it's such
the
a
hospital
problem.
or jail. Like, those are the two places you can go when you need help, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fucked. That's fucked.
Yeah. And so I think, yes, like, I think this is something where Jenny and I, in a lot of ways, come from like very different viewpoints, and have, again, come to meet in the middle. I do think that overdiagnosis is a huge problem, and I do struggle a lot with feeling like medication is something that gets used maybe too much, maybe incorrectly, and it's really easy to sort of
it's like rubber stamping kids now.
Yeah.
Right?
But I also think that it shouldn't be embarrassing to say that you are on medication, right? And it also shouldn't, right? Like,
is it though? Like nowadays, is it really embarrassing to say that you're on medication?
Yeah,
because it seems like everybody is.
I think it's still very stigmatized.
Yeah, there's still
very stigmatized.
It's very different the second you leave New York, the second you're not, like, the second you leave, like, different pockets of privilege, right? Like, it's totally different. One of the women who works with us is specifically, just created a photo project where it's for people of color with mental illness to talk about their basically experience of mental illness, which, a lot of people say, like, well, it seems like it's a white people thing. So for pretty much anyone who's not basically in a comfortable social standing, like a comfortable, like, economic standing and white and like, in a job where they don't have to worry about getting fired, like talking about having a mental illness or talking about taking medication is like, terrifying. That could bring your whole world crashing down.
Yeah, I was afraid to tell my family until fairly recently that I was taking medication for ADHD. And yeah, because I'd heard so many things about how, well, then, won't you question all of your achievements and wonder if it's because you were on medication? And it's like, you would never. So my mom is on anti-seizure medication, right? And I'm pretty sure that's why she's achieved anything in life. It's because she doesn't have to go on having those seizures all the time.
It's also totally, like, real quick. Like, this is one of those places where it's like, this is an easier thing to talk about for women. And this is one of those things where it's like, one of the goals of gender equality should be to make it safer for men to be able to talk about their feelings and not feel like they have to, like, because it's just harder for us to get men to make videos.
We have no feelings.
Basically.
Well, yeah, I feel like it was a lot of just like generations that grew up of like, stop crying. What are you doing? Don't have feelings. Like, just go out there and be a man. And it's like, people were like, oh, what does being a man do? Being like anxious all the time and like having anxiety.
All of our grandparents' generation, all the men are like stoic and came back from the war. And like my grandpa was definitely like this. Like, I don't know how to deal with feelings. I'm going to be angry and drink.
Yeah. And I'm really glad that one of the first videos we made was a man talking about his experience with an eating disorder.
Yeah, which nobody thinks happens.
Yeah. And that totally opened my mind. And, he's also like a very stoic guy, I feel like. I don't know. Like, he's like very, I think of him as a very masculine person, like, traditionally speaking. So it's definitely easier for girls to talk about.
We're running out of time. I want to ask a question about where Matt said about thoughts about overdiagnosing people, and then you, Sarah, having the issue of being misdiagnosed. At the time, was it a matter of they didn't really know and that's why it was misdiagnosed? Or do you feel that they just were looking for some kind of quick answer to say, okay, we've dealt with it?
No, I mean, I was in therapy for a really long time before I was diagnosed. It wasn't a quick thing at all. And I didn't take medication for a really long time, partially because of my own hesitation and partially because I was in college at the time, and they deal with so many kids just trying to get Ritalin and Adderall. Like, they are rightfully, I think, skeptical, and they want to make sure that it's not getting abused. No, I think, it really was a thing of, I had no memory. It was really repressed. And so we would talk about formative years, and I just had nothing to say about it because it was blank.
Did you say, like, I don't remember, or did you just sort of skip around it?
I actually have always said, like, I feel like there's big chunks. I don't really, I say, I used to, everything was when I was 9. I'd be like, I was 9. I was always just 9. Like, childhood is age 3 and 9 and then 14, and that was it. And like, and I would always be like, I feel like I don't remember things. And, I'm a really spacey person, if you know me, so that just sort of seems right. You're like, yeah, no, that seems fair. You don't remember anything. Like, you don't remember, you lost your shoes yesterday. Of course you didn't.
She left her Metro card just now.
Again.
Sorry.
Again, I lost.
Well, we'll pull some money. We'll throw a couple fives on the table here and get you home.
Thank you.
Throw around the collection
so that I can get home. Yeah, I appreciate that.
Making out pretty good. You got Subway fare. You got some mead. I think you have a toy over there.
This is a great day.
Yeah.
We should have made a video of this and thrown that up on Project You Are Okay.
Next time.
Next time we will do that. We are running out of time. I do apologize. Jenny and Sarah from ProjectYouAreOK.com. Project You Are Okay on Twitter. You can find Jenny Jaffe and Sarah Hartshorn, right? On Twitter as well. Randy from NECA Toys. Do you want to give out your Twitter again real quick?
NECA_toys on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and then NECAonline.com for the website.
And we posted all the photos from all the cool stuff that Randy brought in today. Aliens, Superman, Batman, Joker, all that stuff is up on It's Erik Nagel on the Twitter account there. Giddles, do you have anything there?
I got November 22nd, I got the chili takedown in Brooklyn. If anyone wants to come out and eat a bunch of chili, I'm going to be cooking a bunch of chili. It should be fun. And tomorrow I'm going to be at the Brooklyn Comics Arts Festival. If anyone's in Williamsburg, want to check out some cool art. And, that's all I really got right now.
All right, Matt O.G.?
Of course, Geek Stuff, bkgeekstuff.com every Thursday for new episodes of my podcast. November 21st for Geek Flea Market, November 21st and 22nd
I'll be there.
for New Jersey Comic Book Expo. You should come check those out if you're local. And, of course, don't forget, we talked about the holiday beer show coming up on December 4th. If you're interested in participating in that.
We're not talking about just, hey, we want to come up and drink beers, or we're going to buy a 6-pack and come up.
No, if you're a brewery that wants to participate in the sampling that we're doing, you can reach out to us. erockcomment@gmail.com.
And eRock Radio on Twitter, and Geek Stuff OG on Twitter for all of that. I think that's it. It's Erik Nagel on Twitter. YouTube, a lot of the interviews are up on there. And next week is Gotham Show, as we welcome Sean Pertwee and Aaron Richards to the program to talk about Season 2 of Gotham, Rise of the Villains, everything that's been going on with that. And we're going to try to figure out what to do with the holidays post the beer show. Some kind of Christmas giveaway. Maybe NECA will be involved.
Nice.
Absolutely.
Oh, all right, there you go. Confirmed.
There you go.
So we'll figure out something there. I think that's it. Remind me next week to talk about how awful Geek Squad is and the lack of respect I have for Best Buy now.
Okay.
All right.
You had respect for Best Buy?
Yes, because DVDs were cheap on the first Tuesday they came out. Past that, I don't shop at the store. Anyway, so that's all it. The show will be up later on SiriusXM On Demand, YouTube, all that stuff. I think we covered everything, right?
I think you've hit everything.
All right, we're going to get out of here. Until next time, everyone, be seeing ya.
It's Erik Nagel. And that's all the time we have. Follow the show at It's Erik Nagel on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. Unless we do something stupid or something better comes along. We'll be back next time. Here on OP Radio.